Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close, I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Guys, I don't hear any music.
I hear your song, sir.
I don't hear anything. Are we live?
Oh, we're
Okay,
live.
we haven't heard any of the songs.
Haven't seen anything.
All right.
Seen
Well,
anything.
gang, great to be with you. Last night we hosted the first Florida gubernatorial debate. We had a great time. We got a lot of comments afterwards of people wanting to do others, and it's exciting because it was many heated moments, some controversial moments. Maybe we'll address some of them. Aside from that, Newsom had a rough last 24 hours with FBI infiltrating Gavin Newsom's inner circle by convincing governor's ally to wear a wire. Lawyer. This is a New York Post story that just dropped, and they've been quiet about it. They've not been commenting about it. So we'll address that. Obviously, one of the bigger stories, folks. I hope you're being responsible today while you're watching your podcast. You know, for some of you guys in California, it's 6-something in the morning. You're watching this 4th of July weekend, 250-year anniversary tomorrow. You better not have your AC above 70, below 78.
Oh, wow.
Telling you, you better do the responsible thing, folks. Do what Mamdani said. Turn your heater to 78. Can you imagine? Like everybody you sleep with, I don't know what temperature you sleep with, Adam. Are you like a
72, buddy.
Tom, what are you? What temperature do you go to
Well,
sleep
we're very patriotic. Kim
Nah.
likes it cold at night. She puts it at 17, and I am in the kitchen trying to keep it warm. I have it at 76, so we feel very
So that
patriotic.
was supposed to be funny, but what's yours? I didn't get it.
I live in a
I
one-
need a simple answer. What's your number?
74.
Okay, 74. These are reasonable people, but Mamdani wants it to be at 78. He wants you to lose weight. He wants you to be sweating bullets. And while D. Rabbi at CNN was trying to defend Mamdani when asked about lowering the temperature, it's like, hey, why don't we lower the studio at CNN to 78? No, are you kidding me? Are you? That's what I'm saying. Can you imagine how great it is when hypocrisy comes out? So we'll address that. Then we have next one, which is public trust in polls. Tom was talking about this pre-podcast. Is what's going on with that? With Jill Biden's book is all of a sudden on off lists. This was the first lady. You came out with your book. How many copies did you sell? Did people buy them? Did people buy them in bulk just to help out with? Nobody knows. And then even Spotify deletes a couple of the charts. We'll get into that. This is why the Kalshi model is working so well. Even yesterday while we were doing the debate, everyone's like, well, let me tell you, Byron Donalds, this and that, all the. That's great you're saying this. Why are people putting nearly $9 million of money on Kalshi and Byron Donalds at 95% of it? I think after yesterday's debate, the plus minus was what? Fishback went from 2.8 to 4%. Collins and Paul Renner came up a little bit. It was a very interesting thing that happened, but people are paying attention to Kalshi. People are paying attention to what's going on there. They're saying if a person is willing to risk their money like that, there's got to be something behind it.
Yep.
And then aside from that, these two beautiful Russian couple did something I would never do. I love my wife. I would never climb up, what was it, the Empire State Building all the way to the top and then propose. I'm proposing on ground. That's what we're doing right here at a restaurant or whatever. These two Russian, good-looking, attractive couple go all the way to the top, put a message, which, by the way, one of the funniest things I saw is some people posted saying that's actually not that what they put up. They put up something else. I'll share it with Connor. And, yeah, they put up this whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of funny banners that people were putting up. And then he proposes to her. They come downstairs, you know. Eventually, they get arrested. They get multiple felonies, but they're released. But, no, they were everywhere. Every channel, everything you watch, you were climbing. Who is this good-looking, attractive Russian couple? All the money in the world. You couldn't find me doing that. Literally all the money in the world. And we're going to give you all the money in the world. Would you do it?
$100 million cash
Vinny,
right in front of you.
$100 billion, I don't do it.
That's
I'm telling
crazy.
you right now, I have zero desire to do something like this. They're hanging off. No rope, no nothing.
Does that bother you?
Just
Like,
looking at it.
watching?
Tell me what's exciting about that. Tell me what's exciting. That's why I sold insurance. I went into business on ground. I don't sell insurance on the, but top of a tower there. Hey, John and Mary, let me tell you about insurance. We're not doing that.
Crazy.
Anyways, there's another story of a mother who loses her child. And one of the congressmen, Jayapal, Congresswoman, is like, listen, this is our fourth one today. Can we please, she's like, I'm sorry. You're so busy with all of these. You don't want to address it. You have to see this. It's disturbing. conversation they're having. We're going to talk about 50 greatest movies because allegedly Adam wants to share his 50 greatest movies. I don't know if Adam's even seen 50 movies. Adam typically
Not in the last 10 years. Sir.
Adam watches Wedding Singer on repeat. That's Adam's the type
Wedding
of guy.
Crashers, Wedding.
A man sued Pepsi because they said we're going to give a jet. Was it a fighter jet or what kind of a jet? Tom?
Yes, it was a fighter jet. They said fighter jet.
They're going to give a fighter jet, and you had to do this thing that was mathematically impossible to do. And so, like, no one's ever going to do it. It's kind of like when Buffett says, anybody gets the perfect bracket for college, you know, what is it, March Madness?
Yeah, March Madness.
We're going to give you $1 billion, right? And no one's going to hit that. Well, guess what? This one guy did. 30 years later, he's still collecting his jet. It's like, where the hell is my jet? Finally, they gave him something, but it's not the jet. But we'll talk about that. It's a funny story. The Rock is being bothered by Hollywood elitists. Tell us your position. Criticize Trump. Say how much you hate Republicans. Like, dude, I'm just trying to make movies and be a celebrity and get my business model. I'm not trying to go into politics. I'm not interested in any of this stuff. Leave me alone. No, you got to say something bad about the president. Guy's not willing to do it. We'll talk about that. The game with Portugal against Croatia. What the hell? You know what it came down to? You know, I looked at it. You know what it came down to? Hair. Do you know it came down to hair? Do you know this? The ball that they added for the first time in the history of World Cup, they added that sensor inside the ball, the chip. The chip didn't feel the hair. If it doesn't, it's a goal.
Oh, damn.
It was all based off of the chip. And so they're saying, like right there, it's all based off the chip. And that's why Portugal and, we're at the lounge last night, and the whole thing is, did it touch or did it not touch? So we'll talk about this. We'll address this. And Portugal's going to be playing with Spain, which Tom is saying Spain's going to demolish Portugal. Indirectly, I think, Tom, you said that.
Based on what we saw yesterday on Spain, I don't know if Portugal wants that team.
And USA is going to play Belgium down our best player, but guess what? I think
U.S. is going to win.
U.S. is going to win.
And then Argentina is playing Cape Verde, and Humberto is
Watch out for my Cape Verdes out there,
tell you,
sir. They're going to get them.
As much as you're being sarcastic, they could.
Don't sleep.
I don't know. Don't
big
sleep.
Cape Verde guy.
All right, we'll see.
They're the same size as Miami. They're the exact same population.
And then we got a couple other stories. One of the stories is Kidsmaxxing, this New York Times story about the ultimate status symbol that some wealthy men are doing with Kidsmaxxing. And 11, next story is PlayStation, Sony. People are furious. What do you mean I'm not getting the box? If I'm buying the video game, I want the damn box. No, we're not doing the box. You're just going to get the download. No, I want the box. And why? Because of ownership. There's pride. I want to get this. And so Sony had to adjust with some of the stuff that they're doing, because apparently one of the stories, Tom, was about movies that people had, and because their licensing agreement was gone, you paid the $20 for the movie, it's gone. Even though you pay $20, Sony keeps it. So people are like, wait a minute, why are you not renewing your licensing agreement? So it's interesting. And then the NBA, Stephen A. Smith says, what team wins being all white? And Vinny doesn't like it.
Oh, man.
Vinny doesn't like it because Stephen A. went after white folks. Say the proper way.
White.
Right?
White.
The white.
And it's not cool.
Watch out for them.
It's not cool because LeBron's no longer in the Lakers. He got kicked out or whatever. He left one of those two. And I will tell you guys about a story of a billionaire who built a team winning championship with 71% white team. And I'll show the story. It's his most hated story. He doesn't like this story, but we're going to talk about the story. And then I got to show you an emotional video, man, because you know who's becoming the MVP of who's becoming the MVP of the entire World Cup? It's a guy named Zlatan. I think Zlatan is absolutely crushing it with what he's doing, with the way he's handling himself, everything that's going on. By the way, is audio in or out? Because I'm seeing comment section with audio being in or out. Can you guys tell me in the back if audio is good or not? Humberto, Andres, can you guys give me a thumbs up if audio is in or out? Okay. Was there an issue? And if there was an issue, how long was the issue? Because I'm seeing the comment section saying there was an issue. Is that the only issue that we had? Okay. All right. Sounds good. So with that being said, folks, before we get started, this is 4th of July, and there's obviously a lot of stuff that's going on. About $30-40 billion going to be spent on 4th of July, and we decided to do something special for everybody, especially for the VT and the Future Looks Bright audience. I want you to watch this clip here. Go for it. You know what I love about the World Cup? People around the world came to America and realized how awesome this country is. They're making videos saying, I love America. We needed other people to come in to remind us that this is the greatest country in the world, and it's officially turning 250 years old, 4th of July, and because of that, Americans every weekend on 4th of July spend roughly $35 billion looking for deals online. So let me tell you what we're doing at VT here ourselves. Number one, anybody that buys a hat, buy one hat, get one free. Number two, there's an entire deal section with 70% off. Number three, anybody places an order over $1,000, first 50, I will FaceTime you. So whether you buy brand new Future Looks Bright shoes, whether you buy different Future Looks Bright hats that we have all over the place, shirts, sweaters, anything that we have over 1,000, first 50, I'll FaceTime you. The first 200 that order get the limited edition gold water bottle that we have at Valuetainment. And last but not least, for some of you that want to reinvest into yourself and get smarter, better strategies moving forward, this is probably the best season for you to get the bundle of all our online courses, whether it's public speaking, whether it's sales, whether it's strategy, whether it's the Vault Conference, any of that stuff. All 5 of them for $1,000. So go to vtmerch.com. And the crazy ones that are watching the same, man, I'd love to be on a podcast myself, sitting down talking to you guys. Anybody that places an order over $2,000, we will do a raffle. We will fly you out. We'll pick one winner, fly you out, put you at a hotel, give you a tour of the entire property here. Then you will go to dinner with all of us to Casa D'Angelo, and you will sit right here. And we'll do a home team podcast together. I'll be asking you about issues, and you will be on all of our clips with PBD Podcast. Either way, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, and have a happy 4th of July. Okay, guys, go to vtmerch.com to place your order, and we look forward to calling some of you as you go through this and get that golden bottle of water sent to the first 200 orders. And then those of you, the guys that are a little crazy, the 2,000, we'll invite you to have you on the podcast and have dinner with you. So, having said that, let's get right into it. First story I want to go to is FBI infiltrated Gavin Newsom's inner circle by convincing governor's ally to wear a wire. This is a New York Post story. The FBI had a mole inside Gavin Newsom's political orbit before the agency's corruption probe expanded into the governor and his wife. The Post has learned Democrat insider Alexis Podesta, 45, secretly recorded conversations during the criminal probe into Newsom's then Chief of Staff Dana Williamson, 53, who pleaded guilty to federal fraud and tax charges in May. According to Williamson's attorney, the revelation she was wearing a wire as far back as June 2024. Damn. This is like Joe Pistone, Donnie Barasco type of stuff. Explains why a swat of Sacramento political insiders and lobbyists were stunned to receive FBI letters last fall informing them that their phone calls have been intercepted during the investigation, despite many have little or no connection to Williamson. Alexis wore a wire and Dana did not, said McGregor Scott, Williamson's lawyer and a former U.S. attorney for Eastern District of California, which is now investigating the Newsoms. The disclosure comes as Newsom announced last month that he and his wife, whose nonprofit had been burning through money in recent years, as well as members of the governor's inner circle, are under federal investigation. Within hours of that announcement, Newsom blasted out an email to raise money for Political Action Committee. Tom, what's going on over here?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on over here. Williamson, we know what happened there. Dana Williamson pleads guilty, has the situation come up. However, now we find out that there was a wire on this. So wearing a wire, and they are now investigating the Newsoms specifically. The only reason they're investigating the Newsoms is because something came up on the wire. And so they got Williamson, and Williamson, the wire must have been very compelling because he pled before plea. I looked it up.
Okay.
You know what pleading before plea is? Is where your lawyer basically tells the government, says, look, we're going to plead guilty on this. We want to figure out what are we going to do here on sentencing. You go straight to sentencing. You assume that the government's going to get you on 1 felony or 2 felony. And so you're suddenly now worried about sentencing, not how many or what charges. Like if it's 1 felony or 3 felonies, Adam, you know how this works. You hear people talk about it. He will serve those concurrently.
Yes.
So even though you've done 3 things, three things, it should be 5 years each, but you're only going to serve the 5 years once, and the 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months that they had you in temporary jail waiting trial, they credit that as time served. So this is what's happened with Dana Williamson. And so now, check this out. It's the Eastern District of California. The closer you get to the Eastern District, the more moderated you get in California because you're going east. And so they're investigating Newsom. He said nothing about it. He hasn't come out. You see Gavin Newsom come out talking about these guys? I don't know what they're talking about. You know, this president, he's an absolute joke. He's despicable. He's horrible. You know, when
are you doing a Trump-Newsom combo?
No, he does try.
No, it's Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
You don't see Gavin Newsom sitting out there. I don't think we know what's going on here. I think we do know we got this. Newsom is not saying that. Newsom is not out there saying things, screwing around with the DOJ. I think there's something big coming because now they've said, we've got Williamson dead to rights, going to sentence. Now we're also investigating the Newsoms, and there's two things there. One, what, if anything, did they have to do with the Williamson crimes? And now they're investigating specifically the leak, the DOJ leak statement is their nonprofit. And remember, we know about the nonprofit. We know about the diaper math, and we know about a few things. So, Pat, it appears that there's some very real things going on. Will it amount to anything? Will Aunt Nancy Pelosi step in? Tune in tomorrow.
Well, and by the way, Tom, great freaking take. And just throwing this out there, the FBI doesn't put a wire on someone because of a rumor. A judge has to sign off on it. So that means they had freaking all the evidence that they needed for a judge to sign off and go and tap. This isn't just a rogue cash.
Your Honor, we believe this guy is dirty. We want a wire on this person. And we want, by the way, there was more than just the wire.
Yeah.
You know what they had?
What?
They had cell phone warrants. And so they said they've been listening to calls. It's in the statements.
Oh, and by the way, Alexis Podesta.
People got a letter that said, by the way, your phone messages.
We have everything.
Now? No, for the last 2 months. Hope he didn't say anything.
Yeah. Imagine the stuff that they said. But
by the way, Bubbles Pimp left you a message just now.
So Alexis Podesta is like, by the way, this is a close ally to Newsom. So this isn't just some random person. And Tom, once they have Dana Williamson, okay, she helped move $225,000 out of a dormant campaign account, and she was disguising it as consultant fees, no show jobs. Anything, Tom, for them to lessen. Think about it, Tom.
And that's the only time she ever did that.
Yeah, exactly.
One time.
Yeah. So once you get caught with something that massive, Pat, think about, like, you want to talk about people ratting? If you ever watched the first 48, Tom, my favorite show, those people go into the interrogation room. As soon as they know that they're done, they give them a Coca-Cola. They start ratting on everybody. You don't think Dana Williamson is like, hey, listen, I will tell you everything just as long as I don't have to spend the rest of my life in jail. And mind you, all this time, all this points to what happens in California. They keep pushing. Remember, they stopped the Nick Shirley Act. Keep anything to stop anybody from investigating all the fraud because it's rampant. And I pray, Tom, that they go down. They all go down and they all do the perp walk that everybody in the Trump administration.
So she had control of the accounts and she was moving the money. How did they eventually get Al Capone?
Tax fraud. Tax evasion.
But what guy did they get? His accountant.
His accountant. Oh, yeah. They grabbed that guy.
So you're saying something could actually happen here?
Look, this is the Department of Justice saying they're investigating Newsom's, they're investigating their charity, and we already know the diaper math, the headline stunk. So it's like, who was getting the money for the diaper? Remember that math? It's like, this is impossible. Somebody was getting money for diapers because it was impossible to be paying that kind of money for diapers. Remember all that?
Of course.
Adam, your thoughts?
Pat, I got to tell you, man. Starting to think Gavin Newsom might not be as good at this leadership thing. I don't know. I think he looks the part. I think he could pretend to be the part. I just don't know if he's actually doing the thing. You know, this is completely his leadership under question. We all know what's going on in his state. We see California literally burning down, God forbid. But also behind the scenes in his administration, it seems like there's some shady stuff going on. Remains to be seen. It's like at the end of the day, this is a failure of leadership. If you're the CEO of a state or of a company, let's say, you might not be under investigation, but you know, they say when there's smoke, there's fire. It's like if your COO, your CMO, and your chief of staff, they're all under investigation and they're being questioned. It's like, what kind of culture are you building there in your administration in California? For me, it's pretty simple. Do what you got to do in California, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, do all that, but don't California my America.
I agree.
Is that the mic drop statement that you're making? Is that what's going on there?
Pat, you know what?
I like that.
It was.
It was. Right. Well, listen, I mean, if this is, who do you think, the part I'm trying to find out here is who's setting him up? Who's setting him up? Because, Tom, you said something. You said, is the DSA his enemy right now? Is it the Democratic Socialist section that's sitting out there and saying, hey, let's get this guy out? Let's get AOC. You guys saw the other day, J.D. Vance gave a shout out to AOC as a possible candidate of the Democratic Party to the point that they even asked AOC the question. And they said, what do you think about what J.D. Vance said about you?
Yeah, I saw that.
And if you were to think about who would be more conniving and strategic to get somebody out, who would it be? This is it. Watch this. Watch this, folks.
JD Vance just said in an interview that he thinks you are going to
You guys hear it or no?
Yeah, I can hear it.
candidate for president in 2020. What's your response to that?
I mean, you know, I hope he is. That's what I'll say.
What do you say?
Like,
I
he's
hope
a
he
Republican
is.
nominee?
What was the question?
Do you hope JD thinks
JD
that
Vance.
he thinks that you could be the nominee?
Why would JD say that? Because JD actually thinks it could happen.
course.
And if they're working together, who is more united under, who is more true believer in their cause? Socialists or Democrats?
DSA social.
Socialist. by
DSA
far.
socialists are more true to their cause, right? Of what they believe in. Okay. So if that's the case and they really believe in their cause, do you think they have enough true believers that would find a way to destroy their candidates? Would Newsom being one of them?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I've been unwavering in my position that I don't believe that the core DNC wants Gavin Newsom. The core DNC, and I believe what I said because I was reading the tea leaves. I think it was a right read that 9 months ago they were thinking about J.B. Pritzker. He's Illinois. He's from the Midwest. He's got a lot of money. I don't think that's the guy anymore, but I think the DNC, Pat, is still not on Newsom. They know there's too much baggage, and they don't need California. They're going to win California anyway, and he has a lot of baggage that comes with it. So do I think the DSA, which is more split from the DNC than MAGA ever was from the RNC, do I think that they're pulling strings and doing things? Could they be whispering, maybe go talk to this person too? They do it to each other all the time in the primaries. They kill each other in the primaries, but then they're better at waving a flag and getting everybody together for the election.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think if there's something going on there, I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to get rid of their number one candidate, number one opponent, and that being Newsom, and having the socialist stuff coming up. Why? The reason why I say this is because the Socialist Party is part of the 78-degree party, okay?
yeah.
And the 78-degree party is very important. Then you have to realize you have to make sure you don't turn the AC below 78 degrees because it's not proper to do so. And the person that said this was the face of socialism today, Mamdani, Mayor Mamdani from New York. If you guys want to pull up that story on page 8, I don't know if you guys got a video of one of his tweets. He comes out, Mamdani gets roasted after telling sweltering New Yorkers to set AC to 78 degree, and everybody calls him a commie. You're a commie. You're a commie. You're a commie for doing this. If you guys got the tweet, if you want to pull it up. So there it is. New York, it's hot out there. And the power grid is working overtime to keep us cool. Set your AC to 78 degrees. Turn off the lights, electronics you're not using, and unplug what you can. Our city is doing its part too. Maintaining the 78-degree rule in our building, dimming, turning off our lights during peak electricity demand, asking private partners to do the same, and powering down non-essential equipment. A stable grid means the AC stays on and lives are saved. Let's ease demand and get through the heat together. That's almost a ChatGPT type of a tweet right there with those two lines that you see on the bottom. So gets 58 million views. Not for a good thing. Even CNN, there's a clip, Vinny, if I'm not mistaken, right? CNN reacts to this. If you guys got that with
there's Abby
that
Phillips.
one, I think it's in the group that was sent. But before you guys find it, I'll come to you first, Vinny. So what do you think about this tweet? Why do you think the audience reacted the way that they did?
Pat, nobody wants anybody telling them how to live their lives. People are out there busting their butts. They're paying their bills. They're doing everything. Who's going to listen to this? I don't care. Republican, Democrat, communist, independent, Republican, whatever the hell. Nobody wants them to tell them. By the way, I'm from New York. Do you guys have any idea what 78 degrees is in your apartment? Have you ever felt that before? Like over here, Tom, I'm lucky because remember how you taught me about where the sun comes up and where the sun sets?
Yeah.
My apartment is good because I'm covered by trees and I'm not affected by the sun. That's why I'm pretty sure at the beginning when I said my apartment's 74 degrees, people were like, wait, what are you talking about? It's so cool in my apartment. But people don't want any, by the way, and again, these are the people that are free and love and life. And now they're already starting to do that, do this, do that. We're asking you this. And imagine once they're in power, Tommy, where it's like, they're not going to request. They're going to say, hey, listen, we're going to put something on your thermostat that's not going to let you go above this type of temperature. That's where it's heading.
Well, by the way, if you look at a lot of other countries, which we'll get to here in a minute, I want Dear Abby, if you can play this clip here from CNN, go for it.
Ben, I don't understand this.
Do you support it?
Ask Nikki Haley.
No, but I'm asking you, do you think, when you saw that, you're like, hell yeah, let me walk over there and knock that number up to 78?
Let me ask you a question. Is
But do
Nikki
you really?
the Republic of South Carolina?
Hey,
I'm
watch
not
out.
asking.
State?
Hey, slow down.
It's 78 there a lot. It's 78 there a lot.
What about Texas, Ben?
But do you
And
support
Ben,
it?
don't you live in Texas?
I live in Texas,
Okay,
and
so are
there's no
they
way in
on
hell we're
this?
putting it on
Okay.
78
That's why-
degrees.
that's
By
why
the
your-
way,
that's why
just
your
to be
grid
clear,
falls apart.
It's not 78 degrees in here right now either.
Okay,
No
yeah.
one's going to abide by
Ben,
this. Like,
but
it's
Ben,
absurd.
But Ben, I'm just saying, this is a weird hill to die on.
No, because
when
it's not
Nikki
if you
Haley
understand
says,
who Mamdani
hold on,
is.
when Nikki
She's
Haley
dying on the
says,
hill.
we ask that you set your thermostat to 68 or lower by doing
68
in the
or 78.
In the winter, this is for the winter energy conservation. So
There's
in
a
the
big difference
winter,
between
Who's talking
in
about
the
Nikki
winter,
Haley?
they're
They gotta
telling
put-
people to
different-
set.
it's a different
She's
season.
telling
They
people
gotta pull up
to
something
set
from
their
11 years ago.
thermostat
Yeah.
to 68.
12 years ago.
And also, this doesn't come from the politicians. This is also coming from, as I pointed out, the Department of Energy. It's coming from the power companies.
Well, like,
Con Edison.
you guys understand
says-
that she's
Con Edison,
sticking up
which is
for Mamdani.
running the
Yeah.
power.
So
in
let me
New York.
Guys,
translate.
like,
the-
even
She's campaigning. She's campaigning.
CNN is sticking up for a freaking communist mindset and bother because they're in New York and he's the mayor. He's the mayor and she's there. They're in the city. That's
Okay,
unbelievable.
so let me read you a
keep
couple other
mispronouncing
countries. So in
campaigning.
Japan, since 2005, the government's Cool Biz campaign has encouraged officers to keep their conditioning at 28 Celsius, which is 82.4 in summer. Many government officials follow these guidelines, although it's generally recommendation rather than a criminally enforceable law. In Spain, in 2022, Spain required many public buildings and offices, shopping centers, hotels, train stations, and airports to not cool below 27, which is 80.6, again, for same thing, energy. Italy did the same thing, 80.6. Greece, it's just forget about Greece. France has encouraged limits on cooling on public buildings as part of a national energy conservation plans at 78.8. Germany, during the 2008 energy crisis, did the same thing. And then you have a few others. But are we trying to be the leaders? Can you imagine, like, if all of a sudden, because of they're doing surveillance with Flock, and that was one of the main topics we talked about yesterday. What if there is controls? What if there's controls and state level, some blue states decide to say, hey, whether you like it or not, it's going to be 78.
Yeah.
And the way they're making the surveillance and the technology, what if they get to that point?
It just starts lowering, but they'll
Lowering or raising because they
so
control.
pissed.
That would be, but you know what I would like to see? I would actually like to see a couple blue states do that. I would like to see a couple blue states flirt with that.
Really?
Yeah, I would. I want to see how people react to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I would love to see New York City flirt with that. Hey, we're all about the people, and we have to be careful with climate change. The state has control over it now, and we appreciate your support for this. We're going to 78, whether you like it or not.
I would be very interested to see
so
how
what-
these
what
the
the-
pro.
What causes people to leave more, the wealth tax or AC to 78?
Oh, thank you. That's
By
where
the
I'm
way-
going with this.
By the way, well, let me share something with you. What kind of thermostat do you have in your house? You have a Nest?
No. It's,
'Cause-
yeah, it's the one.
By the way,
the
if
one
you
that-
call FPL, you can get a Nest,
Oh, really?
and they'll go stick it in your house. And as soon as you have a Nest in your house, you know what they know?
What?
They know every time you move it, and they know your habit. And they also, if you read the fine print, if FPL provides that, by the way, this is not just Florida Power and Light, this is everybody. If you have a connected thermostat, Pat, in this country, if you read the fine print, your power company, if they declare a power emergency, like a summer brownout, and you live in Louisiana, they can turn that thermostat up.
Oh, really?
Damn
Yeah,
straight.
I'm not a fan of that. I don't want anybody controlling my.
Adam, your thoughts?
Pat, I think Mamdani might have lost me. I was going to go with the high taxes and the seizing the means of production and the redistribution of wealth. And I was even considering getting my 18th COVID jab and wearing a mask. You know, the famous line in take my eyes, but not my shirt. This is where you're going to lose me, Mamdani. 78 degrees. You're talking to a Miami boy who sweats the second he walks out the door. When I leave my house in Miami, I put the AC at 78 when I'm not in the house. That way the AC is kind of like doing its thing while I'm gone. And when I get back, I'm putting that thing to 72. You can do a lot of different things to people. But when you literally start going into their houses and telling them what to do in the confines of their house, and not even, if he said, listen, I'm recommending everybody goes to 74, everyone would be like, you know what? This guy Mamdani's maybe got something. 78? This is, who functions like this? If I walked into anybody's house and it was 78, I say, we're getting out of here. This is crazy. We live in the summertime in Miami right here in South Florida. What do you think it is in this room right here next door?
We're outside.
Right here.
It's hot out there.
Hot as hell. Do you think you're trying to hang out in that room out there in the garage? Unbelievable. This proves one thing, PBD. Our country started in 1776 with a don't tell me what to do with my life. A lot of these communist Marxists, they don't believe in 1776. You know what they believe in? 1848. That's their origination. Why 1848? Because what book came out in 1848? Their God, their Lord, Karl Marx came out with the Communist Manifesto in 1848. This is where they're going to tell you what to do with your life, seize the means of production, redistribution of wealth. Don't California, my America. Like I said before, you can take your 78 and stick it up your Mamdani.
All right, so there you have it. That's Mamdani for you. We'll see how this reacts. Obviously, the market reacted to it and told them what they think about it, so we'll see what happened next. Let me get to the next story that I want to get into. Since we're on New York, there's a couple that decides to climb, what do you call it, the Empire State Building.
Just a little
Russian
building.
couple. And they go all the way to the top, and a guy surprises him by proposing to her and kissing, and then they have the sign that they put up all the way at the top. And then while they're coming down, the cops come up and they get arrested. They get a felony. And eventually, while they're getting the felony, they were released. But this was it. If you want to show it, I don't know if you have the clip or not. Do you have the clip of them climbing up? I think this is it. This is him right there. I think he's about to. They're taking pictures. Can you make it bigger? By the way, no ropes around them. They're standing there, let's take a selfie, babe. Let's do a video. Let me call my mom. Hey, mom. Kapiszewajci. Хорошо. Не знаю.
Is that you on top of a
And then
building?
look at these guys, looking like Calvin Klein type of model, coming out with his black shirt on, him and his girl, climbed the entire thing up, and they had this sign all the way up. She looks like the girl from the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
And so, do you guys have the clip of what they actually had? The banner, it's about
banner.
love or whatever it was. I don't know if you guys have that or not. There was a banner all the way at the top.
It is actually a good message.
It's a good message. It's a good message of all the way at the top. State building banner. Anyway, so what did you think about this, Vinny, when you saw this?
I mean, Pat, first of all, I don't even have a speeding ticket. So when I saw burglary, reckless endangerment, criminal trespassing, criminal mischief, ready for this one? Possession of burglars' tools. I didn't even know that is a crime. Possession of burglars' tools, criminal tampering, and disorderly conduct. Like, you know what hit me, though?
What does it say? When the power of love beats the love of power, the world will know
peace. Beautiful, beautiful thing. You could have emailed everybody. You could have done a mass email. But I think this guy, and by the way, there's a photo.
Vinny, they fall, they're done.
Absolutely.
But look how calm they are.
But this is New York, Pat. If she falls and splatters, her diamond ring would have been gone in 3 seconds.
Is she dressed as Catwoman? Is that kind of what they're going for?
No, they just wanted to cover their faces like they thought they were going to get away with it. But you know what hit me? And by the way, Connor, do you have the photo? By the way, that gets me nauseous. Where she shows her ring. She's showing her ring, which is actually a badass photo. If you have that, show that. But this is the one thing that hit me is this guy just ruined. Where is it? Let me see. Is there a photo of her with the ring? No, yeah, that's them afterwards. That's them come out. But he just ruined marriage proposals for every man. Every guy out there that thought.
Is this them?
That's AI. That's AI.
That's not them.
Yeah. But think about it. Every guy out there that thought it was cute to hide like the wedding ring and the dessert and the waiter brings out dessert.
Look at that.
Ivan is on top of the freaking Empire State Building, bro. Your dessert, you having the dog come out with like the ring tied in his collar is nothing compared to this.
Can you imagine? It's like, so how are you going to propose to me?
Babe, I was going to.
On the ground, bro. First floor.
Yeah, my knee.
Are you going to climb up Empire State?
Yeah.
Hell
okay,
no.
how about in the mall parking lot garage?
No.
How about just something
First
cute?
floor is what we're doing. By the way, my favorite was that what some people did. So this other couple climbed all the way to the top. I don't know if you guys have what I just sent you.
That's it, Pat.
That's
Look at
the
that
ring.
shot. I mean, come on.
It's a great
That is a
shot.
sick photo,
That actually
bro.
is a great shot.
That is
But you know what, though? You could have done that with AI in 5 seconds. And people would have believed
Just
it anyway.
lied about it.
No matter. But this is the real one. So
Bye,
a couple
LeBron.
guys climbed all the way to the top, 2 Laker fans, and they said, bye, LeBron. We like Kobe way more. Look at this. This is the right way to do it.
That's so funny.
If they would have done this, I would have supported this. This is a good move on what people were doing. Tom, how did you do your proposal? How did you propose?
We went to a place that we've been many times before. I proposed, And Kim was very emotional. It was wonderful, wonderful. We went down to have dessert. I had already talked to her parents that day, and I asked them to come by where we're having dessert, like at 9 o'clock. And we're in there having dessert. We're just talking. I'm waiting for her parents to show up. And Kim was so stunned. She looks up. She goes, "What are they doing here?" It's a true story.
That is so funny.
They're walking in.
Yeah. Yeah, similar with mine. We did one as well. I have the video when I proposed. I'm like, so we're celebrating Veronica's birthday. And on the way there, me and Jen are fighting. And I keep saying, I don't want to go. I don't feel like going. I don't want to go. And she's like, babe, what's going on? I said, babe, I don't feel like going. So eventually we show up there. And she's like, why did all these weird people show up to Veronica's birthday? I said, I have no idea. She knows everybody because she's my assistant. She's been with me for a while. And then Veronica gets a, hey, thank you so much for everybody showing up to my birthday and all this other stuff and da-da-da-da-da. And Patrick, did you want to say a couple words? Yes. And then that's when I proposed God.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was at a restaurant in Laguna or Manhattan. I don't know where we were at.
Did you cry or did she cry? Did anybody cry?
No.
Okay.
She definitely did cry. The video we have, and it's somewhere on Facebook on how the proposal was. But if Jennifer would have said, you know, babe, if I told Jen right now, babe, how much would you like us to climb up the empire?
Jen?
She would say, babe, zero interest for doing that. We'd be in the same place. Adam, what do you think about this crazy story here?
These two, this couple that climbed the Empire State Building and got engaged. Let me tell you something, Pat. They better make it.
Oh, yeah, they look like they...
This marriage better work. If you're going to do all this and then you announce 3 months later, yeah, guys, we're actually having relationship issues, we're breaking up, the whole world will melt down. You just climbed the Empire State Building because she said she wanted to do something special for his engagement. If anybody out there has ever been maybe kind of like in a situation where your significant other maybe is pressuring you, honey, what are we doing? What's going on? And you feel the pressure and you want to do it the right way. This guy just ruined it for everybody.
It's over.
You got engaged at a restaurant, Pat, you said?
Yeah.
The biz doc babe got confused. She's like, what are their parents doing here?
Exactly.
They better make it or there's no hope for anybody out there. You know how they say every guy is looking for his ride or die?
Yeah.
This chick was willing to die and jump off the Empire State Building and show her little rock off. They better make it for all mankind and for all marriages. I hope they make it with their marriage, or we're all doomed.
Their kid, like anybody they go on dinner with, the double date.
Exactly.
Those couples are gonna hate them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so how did you guys meet?
Oh, and Patrick went to a restaurant.
You know, Serge took me. What's his name gonna be? Give me a Russian. And Vladimir took me over to the top, and he was like, "Niznayo, you know, хорошо," and kapzhivaitsi, and it's like, and then it was like we got married. Oh my God, how would you guys get married? How'd you propose? Baby, let's get out of here. Check, please. We will never go out with this couple ever again.
We met in sociology class in college.
Yeah, let me get to
what happens if they wanted to do their wedding on top of the Empire State Building? We're all invited. We all get to show up.
That's a small guest list.
I'll text you.
How much money,
guys.
Pat? How
Great
much money are you
job.
going to do this for?
Zero.
Okay.
Zero. All right, next. So this next story I want to get to is a little bit disturbing, guys. I don't know why. So Jayapal, which is a congresswoman, okay, tells murder victim parents Congress has other things to do. Can you imagine? Parents are there. They lost their kid, and Jayapal says, we have other things to do.
Yeah, we've already had 4. She's like, this is the 4th.
Yeah.
This is
Representative Pramila Jayapal told the parents of children murdered by illegal immigrants that Congress has other things to do. Unfortunately, this hearing is the 4th time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities, the 4th time. There's many other things that we could be doing than this, Jayapal said. I don't know if you guys have the clip on this or not. During a House Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration, Integrity, and Security hearing on Tuesday, during the hearing, Jessica Gorman, mother of Sheridan Gorman, an 18-year-old Loyola University student who was fatally shot by an illegal immigrant, criticized Democratic member of Congress, saying, I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children. The hearing was focused on sanctuary cities. If you want to play this clip, go for it. This is the exchange. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, it's the 4th time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities. There's many other things that we could be doing other than this.
I'm so upset with your butts, and you don't want to talk about this. This is the 4th hearing. Do you know what I'm thankful for? And this is so messed up, I'm going to say. I'm thankful. After hearing, I didn't even know what an angel family was. Had no idea, never even heard about it. There's so many out here. You know what I'm thankful for?
It's crazy, Pat.
I'm thankful that my daughter was just shot in the back of the head, not raped, murdered, dismembered, put in a garbage can like Megan Boss with bleach poured on her, and they didn't fight her for 50 days. And you can actually dismiss the angel families. You can say, but you don't want to hear four sessions on angel families. I'm sorry, you need to. You need to. I'm actually thankful that my daughter wasn't raped. How messed up is that? That I'm thankful every day that she was just murdered, not raped and dismembered. Like, think about that. Like, how messed up is that? Do you know what I thought of this morning when I got up? What the joy of, anyone have a baby here? The joy of picking out their first outfit that they're gonna wear on their ride home from the hospital. I had to pick out my daughter's last outfit, and she was a fabulous dresser. We had 100 people come to our home. 100 friends and family came to her home.
That's somebody crying in the back, by the way.
Cremated, actually, after. And they all decorated her urn with rhinestones. All of them put it on there. She is fabulous, even in death. But the first time, all the excitement of having a child and then having people make excuses and buts. I'm sorry.
No buts.
This is unacceptable. There are so many angel families out here. And the day that I have to wake up and be thankful that my daughter was only shot and not raped,
that's probably her mom crying.
should tell you something. It's crazy.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic Party just in front of your face. Pissed off, Pat, inconvenience that this is the 4th, not the 20th, not the 50th, not the 100th, the 4th time that they're having this type of meeting so that mothers of girls that were raped, murdered, dismembered, bleach poured on them, that it's an inconvenience that they're even speaking to them, okay? And mind you, I don't even want to say her name, this Representative Pramila, whatever the hell, not born in this country. You're not born in the country. You're a naturalized American citizen that's sitting in freaking Congress, and your attitude is, we have better things to do than talk about the murder and rape of these little girls because Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, one of the most disgusting human beings in that freaking administration, let in almost 15 million people, and they don't care that they were raped and they were freaking murdered. Yeah, they have better things to do. Give me a freaking break. By the way, she wasn't, why would you even, I shouldn't expect anything more from her. You weren't born in this country. Why would she give a damn? She doesn't give a damn, Pat, because that's the Democratic thing. Bringing as many people in as we can, give them sanctuary. This is in Chicago, if you guys remember, Tom. Sheridan Gorman was the girl, 18 years old, Loyola University in Chicago. She was out walking on the lakefront, and this dude who was already arrested before, shoplifting and all that, they kept releasing him, shot her in the back of the head, and killed her, okay? Imagine, Tom, I don't want to put this in your guys' head. Your daughter, God forbid something happens to your daughter, you go in front of Congress and you're trying to plead your case because you're like, hey, listen, enough of this sanctuary nonsense because you guys don't care about our children, you care more about them. For her to say, this is number 4. We have better things to do, Tom. We have to talk about Trump, not about your daughter. And for a mother, Pat, to sit there and say, I can't believe she said that. When I first heard it, Pat, I got emotional. She's like, I never thought I'd say this. I'm glad she was just shot in the back of the head. Can you wrap? And guys, it's hard because you can't fathom it. Imagine a mother, the words coming out of your mother's mouth that she's happy that you were just shot in the back of the head and not raped and dismembered. Pat, shame on her, but it doesn't surprise me from the Democratic Party and a person that's not even born in this freaking country lecturing a freaking angel mom about her daughter and them wasting her time.
Well, let me tell you about her. We know who she is.
Exactly.
I know a little bit about her, and she is from Seattle. She also created the hate-free zone after 9/11 because she felt that immigrants were being unfairly targeted. After 9/11, she created this. She renamed it and she rebranded it, but she didn't even grow up in this country. You know where she grew up? She grew up in Indonesia, I believe it is. And then she goes to Georgetown. Georgetown gets a Bachelor of Arts degree, worked in financial services, I believe. There's no law against any of that. And by the way, welcome to the United States. I hope you do well and pay taxes. But she turns around in Seattle, and she's part of this King County narrative, this deep blue in the middle of Seattle, defund the police, protect, the immigrants from being besmirched. After 9/11, I guess maybe there was a small reaction from the American citizen after 9/11, and then she's forming these committees. This is who she is. And if you saw that picture there, you know who was sitting next to her smirking in that picture? If you go back, guys, that you said the picture of her in the committee, you may have already lost it. And because you stopped the video. Right? It's Omar smiling and smirking next to her at the time of that, when that was finished. That tells you everything you need to know. She doesn't want any of the things that this woman was talking about her dear daughter. She doesn't want to talk about any of that because it's inconvenient to her driving her narrative and what she's doing. And right next to her, you have Omar was sitting there with that.
In the X video you guys are talking about.
She's leaning down with a smirk.
Pat, I'm really curious. How you're a freaking father. You have daughters. God forbid something happens and you're there. How do you react to a sitting member of Congress looking at your face going, we have better things to do than talk about, this is the fourth time. How do you take that?
How do you is different. It's the great thing about everything that we have is the audience gets to see and decide on how heartless some of these folks are and how much it's politics over actual things that are happening. You know, one can mourn for another person who politically is not on the same page as you and still mourn the loss of that individual and feel and sympathize with the parent, especially if this is your job. Your job is to protect the next kid from that happening to them. And you say you're busy? You say you're busy? It's like that one. Tom, what was that story with Shell CEO when he got up and he said something like, you know, the last 24 hours have been the worst something of my life. And then they're like, your life? That person lost their life. Yeah. Who are you? Who was Shell CEO? Who was the person? Do you remember who it was? Was it Exxon or Shell CEO? I don't know if you remember the story or not. This was 3 or 4 years ago when somebody said something about the big oil incident that happened. Don't know if you guys remember this. You have to understand the moment of it, of what that person's going through. It's a shame. It's a shame to me to see what happened here, but I think it's good for the audience to see exactly where people's values lies. Mm-hmm. You have to have empathy when somebody goes through something like this. What is worse than losing your child? Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing. And they just went through, and that's how you want to answer? Well, guess what? Now we see where you stand. Adam, your thoughts on this?
This is an incredibly sad story. This comes down to one thing. Do you remember during the State of the Union when Trump stood up, and this was sort of like the biggest takeaway when he stood up and he said, all right, guys, stand up if you prioritize American citizens over illegal immigrants.
Yep.
And half the room stood up and half the room sat down. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I respect it. They completely revealed their hand. They just admitted that they literally will not stand up for American citizens and they will put illegal immigrants above American citizens because this is part of the whole open border strategy. And open borders have consequences and they don't want to own up to their consequences. I'll tell you a quick story about these Angel families. Speaking of the State of the Union, when Trump gave that speech, do you remember where I was? I was in D.C. interviewing all the congressmen and congresswomen on the invitation of Lisa McClain. There's a quick video that I could show right here. I think it's 5 seconds. And I got to witness Republican congressmen and congressmen women honoring the Angel family right after interviewing all these guys. And they were basically saying, like, stand up and say a few words. It was Lisa McClain, Chairwoman Lisa McClain put it together. Byron Daniels gave a speech. The great Brandon Gill had a few things to say. And they were all basically saying, hey, guys, let's stand up for victims of illegal immigrants who have killed people. And by the way, Democrats, you're invited to be here. And guess how many Democrats showed up? Precisely zero.
Yeah, weird.
And that's the biggest problem. Guys, I totally understand if you have empathy for immigrants. We're a country that, you know, we're open arms, but you have to do it legally. And when illegal people start murdering and killing, and you can't say that that's wrong, that's the biggest challenge that I have with the Democratic Party.
But you're again, and I'm not judging them, but I don't understand what type of brainwash has to happen to an average American. And I get it. I get the message. I get what they're doing. To think that because of their policies, Adam, for 4 years, open border, bring them all in because we want the votes. Don't. That's why they're fighting Save America Act, all that stuff. It's votes. Put that all that mumbo jumbo. They're looking for votes, so they can't admit it. They can't say, "Hey, listen, you know what? Because of this, because we want to keep our power, because we have to cheat to win." yeah, only 6,000 kids were raped or killed or murdered. And then you can't even admit that it's sad. It's hurt. You can't even give like some type of empathy to a mother. You have to say, hey, this is the fourth time. We have better stuff.
I want to show you this. So this is Tony Howard, okay? Tony Howard, in this instance, BP CEO. He makes this comment. I don't know if you guys remember this. After, do you remember this, Tom?
Deepwater Horizon.
The Deepwater Horizon explosion happens. He loses employees.
Okay.
After an employee was killed, Hess spoke emotionally about how the death affected him and the company. And then here's what he had to say in the interview. I sent the video clip to you guys if you want to pull it up. I literally just texted to you. You have it right there if you guys look at your phones. Yes, right here. Watch this. Okay.
Apologize. We're sorry, actually. We're sorry for the massive disruption it's caused to their lives. And, there's no one who wants this thing over more than I do. I'd like my life back.
I'd like my
here
life
may
back.
never be the same.
I'd like my life back. And people are like, you would like your life back?
What about the
Your
dead
employee is dead. What do you mean you want to? So every once in a while, you're gonna show, with words. You have to be careful with words. And this was a bad look for her. So I'd like to go to the next story. I don't want to stay on this story. Let's go to the next one. So next story I want to get into is what happened there with public trust for polls. And so, Tom, I'm going to come to you with this one. This has to do with Jill Biden and Spotify. Both stories kind of have to go together. You'll see why as I read this to you. First, Jill Biden's memoirs appear to be manipulated by bulk sales. This is a zero hedge story. So bulk sales, why would it be manipulated by bulk sales? Jill Biden's memoir, View from the East Wing, debuted at #1 on the New York Times hardcover nonfiction bestseller list with a dagger. The symbol on the paper uses when it believes sales include a mix of organic and bulk purchases. The book quickly fell to #3 the following week before disappearing off the list. Circana Book Scan reported a similar decline with a memoir dropping to #2 and #5 and #16. Its hardcover nonfiction by the weekend, June 20th. It had sold 3,221 print copies, bringing U.S. total sales to 29,000. You know how terrible that is?
Jeez.
You're a first lady. You sell 29,000 copies? Just to kind of put in perspective, do you know how many copies Michelle Obama's book sold? Do you know how many copies Michelle Obama's book sold?
1 million?
No. Michelle Obama's book, if you can pull it up.
Is this Becoming?
No, that's actually the name.
Is it really?
How many copies did Michelle Obama's book sell? The number is an insane number. Michelle Obama's book, look, love her or hate her, first day, she sold 725,000 copies, Vinny, first day.
Oh, wow.
First 15 days, 2 million. First 4 months, 10 million.
Oh, wow.
By 2020, 15 million copies. She sold 20 million copies off her book. That's Michelle Obama. And there's no fixing and all that. This is actually people wanted to buy her book.
Of course.
$65 million book deal is what she got with Penguin Random House. When people's house she made her money, they actually wanted to read her book. She had a fan base. Jill Biden, 29,000 copies.
Jeez.
You're a first lady. You sell 29,000 copies of a book. Statistician Nate Silver highlighted that the usual pattern after the rankings were released, not everyone viewed the dagger as evidence of manipulation. Lauren Cabillo, founder of the Leverage Media PR, said, I don't think there's anything sinister about it, arguing bulk purchases are common for book tours, book tour events, and conferences, which is true. She probably had bulk purchases, but because she's on the book tour, that would make sense. She also noted that the memoir remained on the USA bestseller list, that our article counters that many best-selling authors go on book tours without receiving the dagger designation, suggesting Jill Biden's bulk. So to get a dagger, you know who gets the dagger on that list, Vinny? And Tom, correct me on this. Business authors, self-help authors, because they'll order 10,000 copies themselves for an event and they'll give it away or they'll run an event. So you'll get that little dagger on.
What does the dagger signify?
The dagger
exactly?
means that there's bulk purchases that you made to get on this list.
Yeah.
Okay? But for you to get that as the first lady?
Yeah.
As the first lady?
Who's buying this in bulk?
Maybe
no,
donors.
No. It is events, though. But donors is the one that they're going through. So that story is a little bit weird for First Lady. And by the way, this clip, when we post this clip, this is not going to perform that well, this clip. You know why? Because most people are not interested.
Yeah.
If only 29,000 people bought Jill Biden's book, who is the First Lady,
Yeah.
the most important woman in the world is president's wife.
Yeah.
You only
time.
do 29,000 at the time. That's embarrassing. And then this kind of goes to the story with Spotify. Now, Tom, I'm going to read both of them, and I'll hand it over to you to go through it. Then Spotify deletes some stream charts because their concern is a similar thing. Hey, is there some manipulation going on right now with some of the music that we have? Spotify has removed more than 500,000 streams of a song that shot to number 1 in the U.S. chart after discovering that the surge in streaming coincided with a jump in suspicious wagers on prediction markets. Kalshi, the U.S. streams of earrings on the indie pop track by singer-songwriter Malcolm Todd rose to almost 70% between Sunday and Monday on Spotify. That propelled the song, first released in 2024, to number 1 on platform's daily U.S. chart. Tom, what do these two stories have in common?
What they have in common is that we are being gaslit and we are being manipulated as consumers. They want us to believe, well, this is number 1. And you have things happening. This is the number 1 song. Well, maybe I'll go listen to it. Maybe I'll go do this. Oh, this is the top book. Oh, maybe I'll get a copy of that. They're trying to create momentum for themselves to manipulate the marketing to the consumer. And by the way, that's the same thing that they've done in political polling, which is why we went 16 weeks being very careful of the pollings we found, and we found out that Atlas Intel and Rasmussen were the most accurate. How do we know? We looked at the results of the election, and then we went back 10 weeks and said, who's telling the truth? Who appears to be there? This is an erosion of public trust. The public, Pat, can't trust what they see. Which is the top-ranked book on this topic? Well, this one. How do I know? And I'm putting my $25 to buy a book on whatever it is, self-help or whatever, and I want to see this. And then you see this manipulation. And by the way, I don't know which donors were bulk buying for Joe Biden. They certainly weren't paying for the library, which hasn't got above $4 million yet. And it's disgusting, Pat. I really think it's disgusting. And it comes out, it's about to happen. Because if you think that the Russian hoax and everything they wanted to do on Trump was, wait till you see what they want to do to conservatives. Wait till you see what the major news networks use. Atlas Intel, Patriot Polling, Emerson College, all showed really well for us. Remember those days? We talked about it. And then you had all these others. So this is an erosion of public trust. But you know what works good? When Kalshi and Prediction come out there, it's very different when 1,000 people put $2 each down and said, this is who I think is going to win the election in my city based on what I'm seeing. That is far more accurate, and it's proving to be accurate because we look at the before and after. We look at what happens before.
I think God just agreed with you, Tom. I don't know if you heard that thunder right there.
I want to read this.
The Democrat God of polling.
I want to read. So let me tell you what I just did, Tom. I just pulled up which first lady has sold the most copies of their memoir. Let's just kind of find out how they've done. Okay, and here's the numbers that came up. Let me just kind of pull it up for you. Who do you think is number 1? Should be very easy.
I think
Obama.
We just talked about it.
Yeah,
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama sold more copies with her memoir than all the other first ladies combined.
I believe that.
Hillary Clinton sold 3 million copies, give or take, of her memoir.
Maybe.
Laura Bush, 1 million. Barbara Bush, 1 million. Nancy Reagan, few 100,000. Rosalind Carter, this is Jimmy Carter's wife. They say Jimmy Carter's the worst president of the last 50, 60 years. He's on that list. His wife sold 500,000 copies, 400,000 copies. Betty Ford, next. Lady Bird Johnson, next. Melania Trump on her first print. Life sales not yet public. First week U.S. print, 85,000. Jill Biden, 30,000 copies sold. Can you think about that number? 30,000 copies sold, Jill Biden. Very interesting when you look at these numbers to see what they've done and where they're at for the little interest they have for Jill Biden.
And why? You know why, Pat? Why do you think so? I think it's because, I mean, think about it. They were sold this Joe Biden. He's going to say, oh, because it was anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. Then after all the 4 years, people realize, like, oh my God, he's not even mentally competent. He's a shell of himself. She's the one taking photos, Tom, Air Force One, like she's the boss and she's doing this. All the reports coming out that it wasn't Joe. She was kind of running the show with a couple of aides. Hunter was apparently in meetings that he shouldn't have been in. And you know what? The market found out, all these people that were lied to, that, hey, you know what? Nobody really cares about her. She doesn't look like a pleasant person. She just comes out, she wheels him out to try to sell a book. And no matter what happens, you can't lie to people for that long because at some
She goes on The View and slips up and says she's not a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
What we all knew, remember that? So it's like, Joe is mentally competent. I'm not even a doctor. Whoops, wait, woo.
Yeah, exactly. And what's her book? I can see Michelle's. Okay, Michelle, yay, we're in the White House, probably complained about everything because that's all she does. But with Jill Biden, like what's in her book? What would it be? I had to take Joe from here to here. I had to remind him, you did a good job, Joe. You got every question right, Joe. Like, people realize, well, those people, because mind you, she's not selling this to Republicans. What Republican woman is going to buy Jill Biden's book? It's all the leftists, and you found out that none of them support you because they all know that you guys are all full of crap.
And you don't have a library either.
Yeah, you don't have a library. Nobody cares, guys. Everybody knows what Joe Biden was. Joe Biden was put in there, propped up in there because it was anything but Trump. Anything but Trump. And then we all got to see what he was
Let's
about.
just drop the mic right here. You don't have a library, so you don't need a book.
Yeah, bye.
All right, let me get to the next story. Adam, if you got anything you want to say about this.
Yeah, it proves one thing, that the Democratic establishment is cooked. You know, a Nancy Pelosi or a Joe Biden or a Chuck Schumer endorsement from a candidate will actually hurt you at this point. Unless you're a DSA member and you're endorsed by Mamdani and you're advocating for literal communism, the Democratic Party wants nothing to do with you. Just as one little evidence that nobody wants Jill Biden's book.
Nobody wants what?
Jill Biden's book.
Yeah, I mean,
or anything to do with the establishment Democratic Party.
That part's pretty obvious on what happened over there. So let's get to the next story. Next story I want to get to is Kidsmaxxing. Ultimate state status symbol. Kidsmaxxing. I mean, we've heard about Looksmaxxing, all this stuff, but Kidsmaxxing, and this is a New York Times story. It's not like it's a New York Times story. So let me get to it. What is this Kidsmaxxing stuff? And birth rates are falling across much of the developed world, but some ultra-wealthy men are pursuing fatherhood on an unprecedented scale, using surrogacy, sperm donation, IVF, and other reproductive technologies. They are creating dozens or even hundreds of children, highlighting what is described as inequality made flesh at a time when many ordinary families feel they cannot afford even one child. Examples include Stefan Soloviev, who has 22 children, Pavel Durov, who is a Telegram guy, who says his sperm donations have produced more than 100 children, Greg Lindbergh, who reported expanded his family to at least 12 children through what he called a baby project, and claims that some wealthy Chinese businessmen have sought to father hundreds of children through U.S. surrogacy agencies. Elon Musk, who has 14 known children, reportedly who wants to use surrogate to reach a legion level, and joked that Durov's total represented rookie numbers. Laugh on my ass off, Genghis Khan. Many of these men appear to view spreading their DNA as a public good. Musk has said smart or even rich people should have more children. Durov called the sperm high-quality donor material. Jeffrey Epstein reportedly admired a sperm bank associated with Nobel Prize winners. The common thread is a belief that their bloodlines deserve to be multiplied. Modern reproductive technology allows these ambitions to expand far beyond historical limits. IVF and surrogacy make it possible to create many pregnancies simultaneously while selecting traits such as sex or screening embryos for disease. One egg donor said Lindbergh wanted 12 blonde-haired, blue-eyed boys, while Epstein's email reflected a similar fixation on blue eyes. Musk has reportedly used polygenic embryo screening. Tom, what do you think about the story?
So I wonder if the New York Times understands that Kidsmaxxing involves not having abortions. It seems
That's
like
so funny. You are so funny.
It seems
You know
like,
what? You're a comic, Tom.
No. I'm just wondering if the New York Times.
I'm actually with Tom on that joke.
I wonder if they. I wonder if they
he doesn't
realize.
get the credit he deserves.
I wonder if the editorial board realizes what this story actually meant. So you know what? This has been going on for a while. I mean, you go back. The reason I bring up Genghis Khan is because there were these leaders in history that wanted to have many kids, and they wanted their heritage to be spread. And so, do I think that there's people out there doing this? Yeah, I do. I think it's kind of messed up. I think if you're going to have kids, make them yours, you and your wife, raise them, build great citizens out of them, build great people out of them. That's what I think. I've just creating a larger mob in the name of yourself. And, we saw the flaw in the Epstein where he wrote about that. We saw that terrible, terrible flaw where you're just out there trying to, spread your progeny everywhere. And so, I see the impulse to it, But if you want to have a big family, make it yours. Raise them yours.
Adam.
This is an interesting conversation. Obviously, Elon Musk is leading the league on Kidsmaxxing. But it's just evidence that as a man, you know, they say the rich get richer. You're familiar with the K-shaped economy. You know, the top is doing well and the bottom is doing poorly. This is just evidence that if you're a man and you kind of get your stuff together, you have options. Now, I'm not condoning something like this, but I understand that there's a lot of guys that do. I'll actually tell you a funny story about that. But the top 10% of men, whether it becomes looks maxing or money maxing or status maxing, you have options. And what are the options that you have? Where to live, what to do, what women, and what you want to do with your children. So juxtapose that with the bottom 50% of men are just trying to get a girlfriend, much less married, much less kid maxing out here and having multiple kids from multiple moms. I'll tell you a quick story. I don't think it's a secret. The Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and some of their friends, we were talking about this one time, and they were like, listen, I have this thing, and I have this thing, and I have this thing, and all these different women and these different kids. And I said, I hear you guys. And they're kind of advocating, this is maybe something you're interested in doing. I go, guys, this sounds really complicated. Like, how are you dealing with time zones, baby mama drama, baby drama? And they're like, listen, you got to be built for this. I go, guys, respectfully, I don't think I'm built for this. I'm just trying to do one right now. So I understand that really, really rich guys maybe want to do something like this, but I just want to give PBD a shout out. 4 kids, leader. I think most men understand that, you know, have a family, have kids, raise them, be with them together. And that's probably the best approach. But again, I'm not going to hate on the guys that want to have the benefits of success.
Let me ask you a question. If all of a sudden I sat down with you guys and I said, Vinny, let's just say, Tom, we're having a conversation, the 3 of us, and the 4 of us, and I said, guys, I want to go out there and go to a sperm bank and donate 100 because I want to have 100 Bet David kids out there. What would you tell me? Just have a conversation as if we're friends. What would you tell me? Vinny, here's what I want to do. It's going to cost me surrogacy. It's going to cost me $100,000 a pop. I get to pick the mom to make sure they're healthy. And I'm going to do it 100 kids is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. It's going to cost me $10 million, but I want to make that investment. What do you guys think about it?
I would just ask you why you want to do something like that.
Why? Because the birth rate is low, and I want to be able to.
We're just role playing.
Yeah,
of course.
The birth rate is low. I can afford it. I'd like to contribute to society, and this is one way of me doing it.
Are you planning on taking care of these 100 kids?
I would be willing to give a certain amount of money to them, but upfront $100,000 to the mother who chooses to have this baby.
And then what is the benefit of you doing this? I know you want to contribute to the birth rate, but 100 kids is not going to change the birth rate.
Say the argument would be, you know, the access to a good DNA, strong genes that these kids could go out there and be a net positive to society.
I'm just role playing, and then I'll take over. Is this more about your legacy? And the world being shaped by you, or do you actually want to be a father for all these kids? Which one is it?
A little bit of both, but the bigger part is the 1.58 birth rate.
Yeah, but you're not really moving the needle with 100 kids.
I think I'm helping it. I'm helping.
You're doing your part.
But Pat, here's my thing from a Christian perspective, which I know that you are. I think you know this. Children are a blessing. It's not a trophy. God doesn't care if you have 1 or if you have 10, but I think God cares about how you raise them, and being a father isn't just making babies, it's raising them, okay? And man and the woman who love God and have character and make the world better. If you're just putting them out there, Pat, that's 100 moms that have this kid, no father, no, they're not watching the social media, the pornography, the school, the trans, I get to see you. My father was there, but he wasn't there. I get to see how Tom raises his daughters. I get to see every single day how you do it with the girls and the boys. And I see it, and I don't even know how you do it. The work that you guys put into these children to make them amazing human beings. And I'm seeing, for the past 4 years, I'm seeing it, Pat. And I don't think it's possible to do that with all these kids. God forbid. Pat, what if they all turn into some America-hating socialist, you know, what is the, Adam, the Sharia law loving, you know, everybody hating America. Like the odds of them, Pat, turning into the kids that you have made up to this point, I think are slim to none. The goal isn't to have the most kids. I think it's to raise adults
what would you say to
who
me?
stand on their own.
Well, I would say this. I would say, Pat, you know what? You can have those surrogates, 100,000 each, deliver a baby. How do you deliver a great person into that society at 18 years old to live, work, and be what you want. Because you're not, I know you, Pat, you're not just thinking about the birth rate, you're thinking about the quality of those people and what they believe in, what they do. How do you deliver that? You can deliver the baby. Why not just adopt 100 today and shape them?
Yeah, but it's the DNA. It's the DNA, the wire. So the audience, the argument to that would be the DNA, the wiring, the genetics, the bloodline. You're coming from that bloodline, and that's man wants to procreate. That's what man wants to do. They want to procreate. You know what it would make me think about with this? And listen, we're just having this argument right now, just a very basic conversation. Is back in the days, how many times would kids see their fathers? Actually, think about it.
There's that work.
Your wife got pregnant. You're going to go out there and hunt, and then you come back. You would go to war. You would protect. You would do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about 50 years ago. I'm talking about for a couple thousand years. That's kind of what life was like. So this whole thing about being here all the time around your kids, this is a new thing. Right. This is a 50, 60, 80-year thing. This is not a 500-year thing. This is not even a 300-year thing that we have. But let me give it on the opposite side and argue my own point. Raising a kid is about 500 5-minute conversations, not about one weekend spending time with them or 5 weekends spending time with them. No, it's about 500 5-minute conversations that they want to have with daddy while they're going through different issues in their lives. And that's how you shape them. There are a lot of parents who, same genetics, same mom and dad, one kid comes out and say that person didn't get a lot of attention and they end up being a rebel and then they don't do anything. And then there are those that you can shape their mindset and they can do a good thing. So it's not just DNA. This thing is hard. Like this webinar that we did last week for Father's Webinar, I've never done a webinar that the show ratio was that high. It was the biggest showing we ever had on the webinar, where I talked about the 20 rules for fathers, the phase that every man needs to go through, how fathers are judged. It takes 40 years for us to be judged. Then are your kids a net positive to society? And last but not least, do they yearn your company years after they no longer need you? Do they want... I don't know. It's like, hey, man.
6 types of fathers I thought was so powerful.
6 types of, And so, by the way, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, if you go to vtwebinar.com, register, they'll send a link to you. I don't know. There's a part of me that likes that these guys are using their resources. If you have to choose between one of two, I want you to process this. And audience, I'd like to hear from you as well. You got one guy who's a billionaire who is willing to put his resources, IVF, whatever it is, and have 100+ kids, or a guy who's a billionaire and says, I don't want to have any kids. Which one is a net positive to society? No family. Neither one wants to get married and have kids. One guy's saying, I'll give the money away, and hey, 100 kids, 100 girls, you guys go do your thing. The other one, nope, I just want to live for myself selfishly. Who's a more net positive to society? Neither wants to get married. Neither wants the responsibility of the day-to-day father.
On the surface, it's the procreating one, but I really want to know his motivations and how he's going to ensure that those kids are not like, look at the Kennedy grandchildren. Delinquents from A to Z. There's like 2, 3. You go take a look at it.
Yeah.
If you don't get involved, 500 5-minute conversations, great. Then you've got a bunch of rich kids that are delinquents that are impacting the rest of us.
I think what you're saying with raising the kids, Pat, is more is caught than taught. I know you've talked about this. PBD?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I want you to react to this. You know the famous quote, any man can be a father, but it takes a special man to be a dad? I think that's kind of what you're saying, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. But what I'm trying to say is I'm wondering if you have between the two, who is going to be a bigger net positive to society? We can transition to the next story because this one, I kind of got the gist of what I wanted from this story. Next one is PlayStation, video games. Okay, no more discs. We want discs. We want the ownership. We want to feel like we got a disc. No, well, we're just going to give it a download it on your system and that's all it's going to be. No, I want my disc. I want to make sure I have the disc. I'm going to read this to you, and I wonder how you process this. And Tom, I'm going to come to you with this one because it is a big story. A lot of people are not happy about this story because they're sitting around saying, hey, if I'm buying this thing, I want, let me see what page, I want a physical disc of the video game to be given to me. That's what I want. No, you're going to be fine just with the download. No, I want the disc. So let me read this. Brands smell blood in the water after PlayStation access game discs, and they're roasting Sony for it. This is a Business Insider story. This is a Business Insider story that we have here. Okay, so let me go through it. Sony's decision to stop making physical discs for its PlayStation games starting in 2020, it has opened the floodgates for brands eager to score points online. Within hours of the announcement, companies ranging from creators of privacy software to fried kitchen chains piled on using the PlayStation all-digital future as fodder for jokes. Sony said the shift reflects the fact that the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces that for physical discs. The post tapped into a broader backlash from fans who have expressed worry about ownership, media preservation, and what happens when everything lives behind a download. Tom, what is your position with this?
I'll tell you where position. I was part of one of these suits. So once upon a time, there was a company called Voodoo. And guys, if you could go look that up, VUDU, and look up Voodoo Box, like 2010.
I'm on it.
Yep. And you'll see you bought a physical box that would download movies, and then you own those movies, and they were the quality of laser discs. It was a set-top player, but it was high quality. So I jumped in because Voodoo was invested in by Benchmark Capital and a guy named Bill Gurley. And so I heard about all this. I thought, wow, this is really cool. I can own the content digitally stored in my box. Real cool. Well, Walmart buys Voodoo, and then subscriptions comes along, and it changed. And then, you ready for this? By the way, these things had, at the time, 1 terabyte hard drives.
Back then.
Back then. Back then.
Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They're all on me. You know that song? Okay,
exactly. And so what happened was you had all of this stuff being stored there. Walmart buys Voodoo, and then Walmart decides they're not going to do it anymore. They shut down the box. I own the movies. I bought the movies. And it gets over to Fandango. And then you know what Fandango did, Pat?
What'd they do?
They changed the pricing and changed the subscription.
Damn Fandango.
Wait a minute. When you were Voodoo, I bought copies of The Godfather at Voodoo. Then I bought copies of Jaws. Those were mine. Then it gets sold to Walmart, get it? And then it gets sold to Fandango. And finally, Fandango, it was like a $9 million lawsuit, $9 or $10 million, Pat. And by the way, you know who that money went to? The Voodoo users. And so this is the tip of the iceberg.
I love you, Tom.
Do you see how it came back?
Yes.
It came back. So this is people saying the same thing. Wait a minute. If I buy Call of Duty, I want the disc. If you ever go away, I want the ability to keep the game I bought. And in the area of, and by the way, what if you sell to somebody else? Because they've seen this movie before, Pat. So the video game people are well aware of what happened. The Voodoo box, 1 terabyte drive, downloading movies, sold to Walmart. They screw it up. Sold to Fandango. They screw it up. My opinion, as a consumer, I think both of those things were screwed up. That's my assessment. And then you end up in a class action lawsuit. Do you understand, Pat? Everybody thought they owned their movies.
Let me ask you, how often has Apple removed movies that users bought because licensing agreement expired? How often has this happened with Apple? Who else should I put there? Netflix?
Well, hang on. I did a case study on Netflix, and I had Brooker come on at 10 years old.
Rare.
And you know what she did? She comes on there and says, well, the BizDoc now got us Disney Plus because all my movies disappeared from Netflix.
But that's different, though, Tom. That's different because Netflix and Disney left and started their own OTT. I'm talking about something else. That is one, but I'm wondering. So it says it actually hasn't happened. It's rare. In 2018, a few user movies disappeared from their libraries after studio licensing changed. Apple restored access for some customers and explained that rights issued can affect availability. Country changes. Some users have temporarily lost access after changing the country associated with their Apple account. Okay, so that one makes sense. There's no evidence that Apple regularly removes purchased movies, considering Apple has sold hundreds of millions of digital movies for nearly 20 years. Only a small number of cases with Netflix is different because it doesn't sell digital movie purchases. Netflix licenses movies, TV subscription. When a license agreement expires, the title simply leaves the catalog. Since users have never purchased a movie, Netflix is now removing it, which makes sense. Sony PlayStation announced it would remove 551 purchased movies because of licensing. So that one is true. So Sony screwed up there, and Sony in 2022 removed 314 Studio Canal titles and part of Europe after a licensing dispute. And then in 2023, Sony Discovery Content planned to remove purchased Discovery shows, but reversed course after public backlash and reached a new licensing agreement. So then that makes sense. So Apple, I'm buying, hasn't happened. Netflix, they're buying licensing, and I'm paying monthly, so it's okay if it happens. Sony's the only one that's screwed up here, which we'll see what happened with the market reacting to the video games here, Tom.
I'll give you one more angle. What if a new president doesn't like the games that are on there because they think they're too violent? Or in Call of Duty, you're shooting people from another country, and they decided that country's not so bad. And they tell Sony to take that game down. And people have paid $34 for the game, and they're sitting there, right?
Yep.
That's what I fear. What I fear is content censorship. When somebody legitimately bought a piece of content, they want that disc so that they know they own Call of Duty or whatever the game is, they own it forever. And is it feasible that you could have an administration that doesn't like this content or that content or doesn't like how this or that and then can turn it off? What do you think Brandon Carr's job was on day one? Was to protect podcasts like this one. Brandon Carr's chairman of the FCC, was to protect us from being shadow banned or crippled or taken off.
Thank you, Brandon.
Adam, your thoughts?
They just pull up the wrong Brandon Carr. They pull up an NFL player. This is, you know me and my video games. I don't endorse it. I don't play it. In recent memory, it's the second time I think you brought up video games. You talked about Grand Theft Auto. You're bringing this up. What's going on? Is there something that you know, how do you feel about video games? Why is this something that you want to talk about again? This is curiosity.
No, I think it's business strategy that's dumb. You can't lose your customers. And to me, there is an element of, like, listen, a lot of people have moved over to Kindle, okay? And they like Kindle, reading Kindles. I'm not a fan. Yeah. I like, if you see me, I always have a physical book with me because I like the sentimental meaning of reading a book. I get some people that are, I like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't listen to music on cassette tapes. I don't have that sentimental, even though Eazy-E back in the days, real mother, you know what, geez.
You're going to hit him up. We know you're going to hit him up, PBD.
So I didn't listen to a lot of Christian music back in the days. But to me, I think it's the sentimental side of having that. The movie side, where, you know, back in the days, like my sister had a collection of all the Disney movies, and it was a big deal, the VHS Disney, because some of these things are very, very expensive. My dad had it as well. And so you collected it. It was something that we have it in our family as well, those DVDs you collect. Yeah. I understand the nostalgic desire of, these things. Like, people have these types of collections. There's something special about it because it's a bond. So for video games, I get the younger audience saying that.
I got you now. Now I want to understand this. One of the things that people are fascinated about when they come to Valuetainment, there's the hangar, there's the car. They come and see the thing in front of your office, the read.
Yes.
Filled with books. People go, oh my God.
Is that what it's?
It says
I thought it said Riyadh.
I know you thought you said Riyadh. I know. Road also for roads. But I get it. I'm going to teach you how to Riyadh one of these days. Thank you. But there's something nostalgic about that. For instance, I have all my CDs in a case like this collecting dust. There's certain things that we don't have that. People like the physical touch. Like, for instance, why do people invest in real estate? They want to be able to touch the assets. I invest in REITs, real estate investment trusts, because I'm not trying to get my hands dirty, trying to be a pretty boy out here. But there is something nostalgic about holding a book and reading it, even if you use an Audible to go along with it.
This used to be one of my first sets back in the days. That was the set.
Look at you.
By the way, good work, team in the back. You guys are speedy today. You're fast today.
I'm impressed.
So,
Brandon Carr.
Yeah, this used to be the first.
PBD, how old were you here?
I'm probably 18 years old.
Stop it.
No, this is
36?
20. This is, I'm 36. I'm 36, 37 years old.
You know how I always know how old PBD is. I can do it every single time. Show me his haircut.
Yeah, 36 years old.
Show me his haircut. Show me his goatee.
Let me get to the next.
Exactly how it is.
Let me get to the next. By the way, there's a list that comes out. I'll get to that here in as well. But this is a funny story. A man sues Pepsi 30 years ago because Pepsi did this campaign. If you can't even pull up the campaign when they did this back in the days, because you guys showed me this video yesterday, they do this thing about, hey, we're going to give a fighter jet. And so this one guy decides to go and do every single thing required to win this thing. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what page the Pepsi story's on. Oh, there it is. I found it. Man who sued Pepsi over fighter jets finally gets his reward 30 years later. This is the original commercial, by the way, from October 30, 1995. Watch this. Go ahead. Oh my God, this is how
Listen to the
commercials
audio.
sounded.
Hear the audio? Oh my.
That is terrible. Can we get past the 6 seconds? Yeah, go a little bit. All right, let's see it. Oh, that audio is.
Boom.
Introducing the new Pepsi Stuff Catalog.
Yeah.
Now, the more Pepsi you drink, the more great stuff you're going to get.
Sure beats the bus.
So they put this saying, if you get 7 million points, you're going to get a fighter jet. And this one kid gets it done.
That's so freaking
And they're like, they never thought it was going to happen, so they never gave him the jet. What are you going to do? Deliver the jet to the guy's house? Can you imagine how crazy this campaign was?
What if he's a Middle Eastern guy?
Pepsi's like, holy shit. 3 decades later, after suing Pepsi for refusing to give him a fighter jet, John Leonard, pull up his picture. I actually want to see what this man looks like before and after, what he looked like as a kid. Finally got a reward that may be even better, according to a post at Supercar Blondie. Leonard became the center of all advertising most famous legal battles after taking a 1996 Pepsi commercial at face value. The ad promoting the company's Pepsi Points loyalty program jokingly claimed customers could redeem 7 million points for a military Harrier jet. Rather than laughing it off, the Seattle college student raised enough money to buy the required points and submitted a claim for the aircraft. Pepsi rejected it, insisting the jet was never a real price. The article says that the case went to court where a judge ruled that no reasonable person would believe Pepsi was seriously offering a fighter jet. In a soft drink promotion, although Leonard lost the lawsuit, the bizarre dispute became legendary and was later chronicled. How do you pronounce this word?
Chronicled, sir?
Chronicled in the Netflix
Don't worry about it. I got you
Pepsi,
every time, all the
Where's
time,
my
every
jet?
time.
Now, nearly 30 years later, Frontier Airlines gave this story a happy ending as part of a Super Bowl campaign called The Big Redemption. The airline converted Leonard's original 7 million Pepsi points into 7 million Frontier miles, effectively giving him free flights for life. The airline even featured Leonard in a tongue-in-cheek commercial, handing him the keys to an Airbus A320neo as a nod to the decades-old saga. Now in his 50s, with a wife and children, Leonard joked that unlimited airline miles are far more practical than owning a
you think?
military jet. After waiting 3 decades, he never got the Harrier, but he may have received an even better price. Tom.
So marketing has consequences. And I think if you're going to do this,
This is him? This is him as a kid. College student. Isn't that great? And by the way, can we see him today? Can we see him today? What did he do? What business did he get into?
Crazy.
For a guy to be this resourceful, I hope this guy became like super successful. If he used his ability to get those 7 million points, your ability to be resourceful is off the charts. This is him now.
That's so fun.
buddy.
Is there a video? Can we hear how he speaks? I actually want to hear how he speaks.
I'd laugh if he became like a consumer protection attorney.
I actually wanted. So this is the commercial. They're not showing Pepsi. This is Frontier Airlines.
Ran a promotion. Collect enough points, and you could trade them for a jet. One man tried to claim it, but the courts ruled it was a joke, and the plane never came.
Leonard's case was dismissed. Give that man his
By the way, Frontier's marketing team should get a freaking raise.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't get a jet.
7 million. It's a deal.
Frontier redeemed John's 7 million old soda points for 7 million miles, enough to fly free for life.
Finally got the jet.
Look at this guy.
And
So you
now
finally
we're
got a
giving away
jet.
70
What?
million more
They're making
miles,
a
so you
commercial.
can turn loyalty points from any other
Oh
brand
my
into
God, I
Frontier
love
Miles
this.
too. Redeem your points at
Listen, respect
frontiermiles.com.
to Frontier Miles. Don't you love this story, Tom?
I love this story. There's the business side of me says, listen, you got to be careful about doing, sweepstakes or because somebody, even if they're going to do it, is going to blow the thing up.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I think it was American Airlines once upon a time had the $300,000 pay once and you're first class for life? And I think there were, there were 3 remaining members of it because they kept trying to buy them out. And do you know who one of those last remaining members was? Mark Cuban. because it was $300,000 and you bought the American. And so, and by the way, American never thought the number of people would do it. And they nearly went broke, not broke, but they were losing money on like 3 of them. There was a guy that decided that every other week he was going to the UK. And apparently you had the right to take a American Fly for Life or whatever it was. You could take it. I love it when it snaps back. And so that's what I think. I love it when it snaps back. But you know what I love even more is when companies do something for good, even if they're doing it for funny. What is Frontier really saying here? We'll go the extra mile for you when somebody else wouldn't.
That might be a slogan right there. They should pay you for that, Tom.
That's what I think.
Okay.
I love
so
it.
how do you feel about this, Adam?
Great marketing by Frontier. Way to deliver on this. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if I order a Coke at a restaurant and they go, sorry, sir, we only have Pepsi, I'm disappointed.
By the way,
I went a totally different way on that.
Can you run a poll, Pepsi
but I'm a Coke
or
guy.
Coke?
Diet Coke.
Run a poll, Pepsi or Coke. I want to know which one our audience is Pepsi.
There's
or
nothing
Coke.
Whopper,
better
the Big Mac.
than having a meal and then just say, hey, can I get a Diet Coke?
You know what's funny?
And it feels good. I know you don't drink soda.
Haven't had it since July of 19, and I miss it. I'm not going to lie to you. Not having a Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
No, I'm not going to drink it. But
You know what I do, Pat?
What was the Coke ad you talked about? Remember the Coke ad?
$5 million, I would
Coke's
do
for
a
you?
Coca-Cola commercial to come back.
I don't always drink soda, but when I do, I'll do it for $5 million.
I go to Whole Foods and stuff, and I get just, like the black cherry flavor.
Yeah.
And then you put stevia drops. I know it's not the same, but if you want to get the soda carbonation
What's
taste,
going on with your voice?
By the way, do you remember RC Cola? Remember RC Cola?
Royal Crown.
Yeah, did you ever drink it or not?
Is that what it called? Royal
By the way,
Crown?
RC was better than Coke if you asked me 30
Hey,
years
hey,
ago.
hey, hey,
Not even
hey.
the blue bottle,
Yeah.
the blue can.
I agree.
I don't know, the
I
OG
agree.
RC Cola.
Well,
Yeah,
I
right there.
agree.
That's
If
OG.
they had a great
If
product,
you-
they must have had horrible marketing
listen,
because
if
that
you-
doesn't exist.
Now
First
we're all
of all,
into
if
blue
you
pills.
drank RC, you were poor, but you got, you
But rich in substance and health
but the
and life.
drink was good.
And then
I
when's the
remember
next
that.
time you think you'll have a soda, Pat?
I don't know about that right now at this point with what I'm going through.
But hey, an Arnold Palmer, that'll serve you well.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
we're-
That's
we're
a different
gonna-
story. Let me get to the next one. This was a good story. Next one. So the Lakers get rid of this black man, LeBron James.
Oh, man.
Or LeBron left. And Stephen A. Smith's like, what team's going to win with all white? I mean, who? And he reacts to this. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. And so some audience like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Who cares about whether they're white or not? Come on, Stephen A., right? Even Vinny's sitting here like upset about this whole thing. But there's somebody that, you said what team has won being white. This is it. Let's play this clip and we'll all react to it. Go for it.
Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes? Your 3 top players are white dudes?
Come on,
Really?
Stephen A.
This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. What y'all think this is? Basketball. In NBA history, when have you seen your 3 most prominent players on a basketball team all be white? And that takes you to the promised land. Somebody got to say it, so I'm saying it. This is basketball. I'm not complaining. I'm simply making the point. The Los Angeles Lakers, you ain't going anywhere being led by 3 white dudes in today's generation of basketball. I'm letting you know right now, it ain't happening. And Luka's a bad brother. And Austin Reeves is no scrub. And they both have earned what they have earned. And then with LeBron James or some other brothers, I get.
Pause it right there.
But those,
So
can you imagine?
why do you have a problem with Stephen A. on this?
I don't have a problem with it. I just because I love Stephen A. He knows I love him to death. But can you imagine if a white guy on ESPN said, "What the hell they think that they're doing with a bunch of black guys, XYZ," or like a white doctor walking into an operating room going, "I'm not 3 black surgeons. I'm not gonna have surgery." They would lose their
black sheriff?
A black.
Remember that from?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if it was the other way around, it would be horrible. But at the end of the day, Pat, is he wrong? Do you really think the Lakers have a chance?
Let me tell you who.
Any
let
other
me tell you who
team?
banked on this.
Huh?
A guy named Mark Cuban.
Yep,
If you want to
exactly.
pull up the story
Dallas
from the
Mavericks.
Guardian, pull up that
Dirk
story
Nowitzki.
from the Guardian. So this is the story of Guardian that said the Dallas Mavericks are consistently white in a black league. And this is when Mark Cuban owned them. Okay, so the article highlights that it cited NBA was about 74.2% black and 16.9% white. But it observed that 15 out of 21 seasons, the Mavericks had at least 3 white players on their active roster and are in more than half of those seasons, they had 4 or more. It did not say the roster was 70%. So you look at this number and saying, hey, this is the whitest team in NBA. And Mark Cuban won. Mark Cuban won with Nowitzki. And you know who they beat? Do you know who they beat? The guy that's leaving the Lakers, LeBron James. Remember when LeBron James and what's his name?
Miami.
Chris Bosh.
No, Dwayne Wade. They were making fun of Nowitzki.
Yeah, choking.
He's coughing because he's sick. And then Nowitzki came back and was 24 for 24 on free throw shots, 48 points, destroyed the Mavs. And who's the guy, Finley, who already had the championship tattooed on his arm, pre-winning it? Do you know he did that? I don't know if you know the story or not. I know you don't follow NBA too closely. So he had a tattoo. Can you get Michael Finley's tattoo? Pre-winning the championship. Vinny, do you know what this guy did? Genuinely, do you know what he did? Michael Finley got an NBA championship tattoo before winning it. He said, we're winning it.
Wow.
No one in the history of the NBA had ever done this, and they beat LeBron James. No, it wasn't Michael Finley. What was the guy's name? It's not Finley. It's the other guy. Jason Terry. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Jason
so PBD,
Terry.
let me help you out here, sir.
No, hang on.
Sir.
The Jet.
Jason Terry. There it is. That's a tattoo. Can you show it?
He coming out with a new book.
He gets a tattoo about winning a championship before they won the championship.
Wow. But then he got dunked on by LeBron the next.
No, it doesn't matter, man. You got that championship. You got that. LeBron wants highlights. The Mavs wanted a championship. That's the difference. So I don't know. Look, do I think the Lakers squad? Because the challenge with the Luka is the following. Here's a challenge with Luka. Luka can do 35, 10, 10, but he won't come back to play defense. He's not a two-way player. So the two-way players, the great ones were who? Kawhi Leonard. He'll come back. Jaylen Brown just went to Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. For trade for Paul George. Some call this the worst trade.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Because,
they downgraded.
They said, and they said, well, Jaylen Brown said, I'm probably the smartest guy in the room because it's not too hard in the NBA to be the smartest guy in the room. I think a part of Jaylen Brown is also, why would Brad Stevens get rid of Jaylen Brown? Maybe you're not a good locker room guy. I don't know. Who the hell would get rid of a guy that did 28-6-5 last year? I think that's what you average. And you were the finals MVP. Maybe you think too highly of yourself. Maybe you're not a guy that brings a team together. Maybe you're not a team guy. Maybe you're a selfish guy. Maybe you think so highly of yourself that people don't want to play with you. I don't know. Why do you get rid of a Jaylen Brown at his peak for Paul George at the end of his career? And I love Paul George. Why do you do that? But you're seeing a lot of stuff that's going on over there. I don't want to go into my sports analyst side.
Go ahead.
I don't want to embarrass Stephen A. Smith. I don't want to do that.
Stephen A. Bet David.
I'm a fan of Stephen A. Smith. First take. Stephen A. is the first take. We're the last take. So we're going to give the last take on this.
Yeah.
But Adam, with your amateur ability on the NBA, what do you want to add to this? Go ahead.
WNBA.
Let me defend my
representing
white
the white Jewish community. Go ahead.
Let me defend my white people right now.
Who's by the way the greatest Jewish NBA player of all time?
Well, right now he's playing right now.
Oh, he's the guy that's playing right now. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Well, you rarely hear Berkowitz with the dunk. You don't.
Listen, you're talking to the Jewish Jordan right now, buddy. Have a little respect.
Sorry.
So, Stephen A., I would typically agree with you, homeboy, but times have changed.
I don't know about
White people are back in the NBA. If you look at the top 5 players in the NBA right now.
Boys are back in town.
Luka Jokic, white.
Jokic.
Jokic.
Go ahead.
Luka Doncic, white. You have Giannis, you have Wemby, black, and you got Steph Curry. He's kind of on, which side is he on? I don't know. The point is this. White people are making a comeback. I'm not just talking about Steve Nash. I'm not talking about Dirk Nowitzki. I'm not even talking about Mark Price. I'm not even talking about Craig Elo. The days of the blacks owning the NBA are over. But by the way, they've had it for a long time, ever since Larry Bird had this thing. But you know what we have to be the most concerned about? This is what I'm actually most concerned about, because I'm actually not into the black and white thing. I'm more into the USA thing. You know what I'm more concerned about? That the top 10 players in the NBA, the vast majority of them are no longer American.
Greece.
They're international. Yeah. Think about this. Giannis, Greece. Luka, Slovenia. The Joker, Slovakia, Serbia, wherever he's from. SGA, Canada. Wemby,
Borat,
outer space. I don't know, wherever this guy's from.
What's going
on is American NBA players forget about the black and white thing. Just put the ball in the hole and start beating these international things. Globalism's taking over. Next thing you know, Yao Ming's gonna start dunking.
Well, Pat, you ready for this?
By the way, Adam. Wasn't that where Mark Cuban drafted his guys? All the Europeans.
By the way, when I did a shootout
they
in the
weren't
gym
white
here
Americans
with the great Stephen A. Smith,
Stephen
We
A.
tied.
Yeah, but
We
no, he
tied.
had a good shot, and he wasn't even dressed for it. But here's my thing.
Oh,
With
you're
all
making excuses
all
for the
stuff
black
that we
man now,
talk-
Vinny?
All the stuff that
This
we
is what you're doing?
All the stuff
Cultural
that
appropriation
all
from
the
an
stuff that
Assyrian?
you talked about Elections and stuff. What does Vegas say? Los Angeles Lakers to win plus 4,500. You would have to.
Oh, no.
No,
They're not
there's
doing
no
good. The Lakers are not
chance.
doing good.
Like Jesus Cristo would have to come and be on the starting five.
By the way, I just want to make a public announcement here, PBD, if I may. LeBron, I want you to make this decision. Come to Miami.
Oh, don't even.
Come to Florida.
Don't start. You want
Forget
Pat
about
Nassau
the
watch
high
basketball,
taxes in
Pablo, honey.
California.
All right.
Forget about all the
Let me
nonsense.
go to the next
Come back and
Go to
run
the
back
next
the
story.
Heatles
Let me
with
go.
Giannis and Bam. 305 till we die. Let's
All right, so let me go to this next one, which is kind of a, I don't know if we have this clip or not. This brother says what he says about Caitlin Clark, saying the WNBA has just got to get rid of Caitlin Clark. Have you guys seen this clip?
That's so
This
dumb.
clip about Caitlin Clark. Tom, I think you commented on this. I don't know where it's at, when you commented on it or not. If you can send it to the crew in the back. So he says, look, it's time. It's time for the WNBA. This is it right there. Yeah. The WNBA would be better without Caitlin Clark. Just listen to him. This is an NFL player, okay?
The W at this junction in time would be better without Caitlin Clark because she is a bigger distraction than she is an additive.
Oh, God.
Caitlin Clark has gotten the WNBA over the necessary threshold they needed. Now people are watching. Now we realize, oh, there's talent in the W. Talent that's actually even greater than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not just talking about bigs like Asia. I'm talking about the Olivia Miles. I'm talking about the Paige Beckers. Hell, I'm talking about the Kelsey Mitchells. Caitlin
Nobody's
got
ever heard of these
the
people,
necessary
homeboy.
eyes there. But now that the eyes are there, we don't necessarily need her anymore. Caitlin did
That's the most
what only
selfish
Caitlin
outlook I've ever
could
heard.
do.
Forget about
Thank you
that.
for all
Don't
your
necessarily
contributions.
need her
Kick
to
rocks.
do anymore. Thank you,
Adam,
Caitlin.
let us
We
listen
can
to
take
clips.
it from here.
He's saying it again.
I
Now you're
understand.
saying that the WNBA needs to be cognizant of where they put Caitlin Clark on posters. The WNBA and the officials need to
Because
alter
she's
the
the
rules
face
for
of the
Caitlin
league,
Clark.
guy.
The WNBA and opposing players
She's the
need to
face
treat
of the
Caitlin
league.
Clark more gently. Caitlin Clark's coach needs to be cognizant
You
of
can pause
how
it
she
right
talks
there.
to her in public.
Okay, watch this. Do you see the foul that this other girl did on Caitlin Clark
Oh,
and
yeah.
is
Trying to
pushing
choke
the
her
head
out.
down?
Yeah, and need her in the crotch, too.
Yeah, and you're watching this, the Caitlin Clark foul, take the T out, foul, and you look at this, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? And she's smiling at her while she's doing this, you know, with the what do you call it, with the hand on the face. Tom, first of all, before we find that clip, what do you think about what she's saying right here, what he's saying here about Caitlin Clark, right there, watch this. This is it. Look at that. And there's even another clip of
She's
her
smiling
looking
at
at her and smiling. So do you agree with what he's saying? And if not, is this it? Yeah, watch that. Watch that. What are you doing? What's the purpose of that? Tom, go ahead.
I don't need to go down the path of just how much envy and jealousy there is in the W toward Caitlin Clark. Number one. Number two, what this guy was talking about was so selfish and wrong-headed.
Who was he, by the way?
By
He
the
was an
way,
NFL player.
No. This is Emmanuel Ancho. He was drafted in the Acho. He was drafted in the 6th round by Cleveland. He barely played. He was hurt, and he never.
He was an NFL player.
Barely. He didn't play a full season. He got traded 3 times. So he tried to make
Tom's
it
going in on
in
this
the
guy,
NFL. No, he tried to make it in the NFL, and either his body or his talent didn't get him there, one or the other. But he never had an enduring position on one team for like a full season without getting hurt in anything, and he ultimately was out. He was one of many rookies that get to the NFL and don't quite are able to stay. Happens in basketball too. You could give me examples, Adam. And this guy is now a podcast and on media as a pundit. And what he was saying was that they don't need her anymore. Why? Because Caitlin Clark helped the WNBA get a huge new digital rights and TV deal. And and she helped the salaries go up. And people hate the fact that she did it. And there's huge jealousy. Why weren't we paid? Why weren't we paid? You heard all kinds of them. And so what he's saying, Pat, he's saying, oh, we don't need her anymore. We got our TV deal. We got the salaries up. Now you can go away, because they're jealous of her. She didn't come from the zone in the area. She came from the American Midwest. The WNBA's culture and everything about its overall positioning is not Midwest.
Let me give some numbers here. I want to give some numbers. Pre-Caitlin Clark going into the WNBA to post. Ready? Pre-2023. She went in 2023. Average viewership, Vinny, national TV audience per game, 462,000. After Clark, 1 year later, 2024, not today, today's even higher. 1 year later, 1.32 million, up 186%.
Come on.
Regular season attendance average per game, 6,615 fans. 1 year later, the entire WNBA goes up 48% to 9,807. Total attendance, 1.59. Total attendance, 2.35, 48% up. Sellouts went from 45 to 154, 242% growth. ESPN viewership, 440 to 1.2 million, 170 up. Merchandise sales, 600% up league-wide in 1 year. Caitlin Clark increased merch sales for everybody. League Pass subscription up 366%. Who did that? Caitlin Clark. And by the way, you know that girl you just showed, what's her name? Sophie Cunningham?
I love
Frickin',
her.
she's a gangster.
Look at
you know what?
The biggest highlight of the NBA this year is a woman pointing at another woman. That's the best play of the year.
She's tough. She's like the Bill Lambier defending her teammates.
Find the other one when she's doing like this.
Sophie, if you're watching this, keep doing your thing. You got a big fan base.
Three-pointer.
I love what she does. So anyways, we'll see what happened here. Do you have any thoughts on this?
You think it's just disrespectful? Like, at the end of the day, let's be real here. If Caitlin Clark was not in the NBA, we would not be talking about the NBA. It wouldn't be in our top 10 topics.
It's still losing money,
to talk
Adam,
about
every
the PBD
year.
Podcast. It's always going to lose money. It's never going to make money.
million.
It's a zombie company. We're not even talking about that. We're going to talk about the fact that Caitlin Clark, at the very least, is the reason that we're actually even getting any shine to any of these players. I've never heard of Asia Wilson. I guess she's the best player in the NBA. We wouldn't be talking about her. By the way, if you just look at the stats, Caitlin Clark is a top 3 player in the NBA. She's top 3 in the league in points, assists, 3 points. She's going to be one of the top 3 MVP candidates. Listen, I'm no fan of the NBA. I will crap on the WNBA all day, every day I can. At the same time, I can acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is the reason that we're even talking about this disgusting, horrible, useless league. So 2 things can be true at once. The league is useless, but she's a great player.
Check this out. This
league.
is the WNBA 30-year poster that they did to recognize WNBA's history. And you know who's missing on that poster?
A white straight woman?
Clark.
Oh, sorry.
Caitlin Clark is missing from that poster. They decided she wasn't big enough to put her in there. By the way, I love that WNBA is doing this because it's showing what you guys are really all about.
Well,
the entire league is being exposed. And FYI, with Caitlin Clark, she's going to keep doing her thing. And the more they do this, eventually everybody goes through 3 phases. First, you are ridiculed. Then you're violently opposed. Then it becomes self-evident. She has not yet made it self-evident. She's going through that phase that Michael went through, that all major athletes had to go through, and she's going to get through it, and her supporters are going to be behind her. I hope she continues. Let me get to the next story. Next story I want to get to is a story about The Rock, which is like, hey, Rock, we want you to talk politics. You're famous. You got 500 million followers on social media. Why are you not bashing Trump? And The Rock's like, dude, let me just do my thing. Leave me alone, man. Let me just go out there and do my, what is the show and the cartoon and all this stuff that I'm doing. Yeah. Why are you bothering me? Let me live my life. Nope. We need you to criticize. So let me read this to you. Hollywood stars began lashing out at Dwayne Johnson on Monday after he reiterated his stance to keep his personal politics out of public eye after telling Esquire earlier this month that he hates the slinging of modern politics. Star Trek alum George Takei and Stand By Me actor Will Wheaton took to social media to slam Johnson, with Taki arguing that his silence makes him complicit. The Rock's recent comments to Esquire about wanting to keep my politics to myself has divided fans, with some calling his silence, Taki wrote on Threads. He then replied to his post on Monday, writing, "Silence is complicity." Wheaton also called out Johnson in a thread post, later deleted, that was reported by Entertainment Weekly, writing, "So disappointing to find that he is such a coward." However, some came to Johnson's defense online, including comedian Matt Rife, who took on X to mock Wheaton's coward comments. I love how he's a coward, but could quite literally tear Will's throat out through his asshole, Rife wrote on a Wednesday, adding, "This internet comment world is so bold." The controversy stems from Johnson's Esquire interview for the magazine's summer 2026 cover story. The actor, known for starring in the Fast and Furious franchise, as well as Jumanji films, explained why he'll be keeping his political views private from now on. "What I learned through experience is that I need to keep need not want the main thing, I said. And the main thing for me is the thing that in the morning I swing my legs out of bed and I run towards is creating. It's art, it's storytelling. I've learned I'm going to keep my politics to myself. Good for him. What do you think about what he said here?
Listen, Pat, I'm for someone that was in Hollywood and learned really, really quick, you open your mouth or you say something funny. I said something about, because this was, by the way, I was in during 2016, 15, I was going on stage and I was making funny jokes. I was seeing Trump. By the way, I never cared about Trump. When I saw Trump at the Apprentice, you're fired, I was just like, yeah, whatever. So I went on stage and I would be making jokes. I got off stage and the owner of the comedy club, and I'm not going to say who it was like this, hey, you can't be going up there and talking positive about this. And I'm like, wait, what? I go, I thought this was a comedy club. So I wasn't getting stage time because I was talking positive about Trump. So that being said, it could ruin your entire career because this game, and we all know this, Pat. Oh, also this, I went to get a comedy booker, a person to book me for comedy, and they were like, and came to see me. Headline, crushed it, standing ovation. I went for the gusto. You know what he said? Yeah, I can't sell you. You're not mainstream. I'm like, what are you talking about? I go, I'm Middle Eastern. I ethnically ambiguous. I could play whatever. They're like, yeah, you're a Republican. Literally said that. And this is a big comedy booker, manager, agent, whatever you want to call them. And I realized that either you go, listen, either you're political or you're not. This is a business decision, and good for him. Because once you go full, you know what I mean? There's no coming back. Once they label you as Pat, especially Hollywood, it's over for you.
What do you think? What do you think?
Because I think he's one of us.
What do you think Rock is deep down inside?
If I had to bet all my money, he's one of us.
I think he's a center-right guy.
Absolutely.
Who's socially maybe liberal or whatever, but I think that the guy's a capitalist. He lives like a capitalist. He lives like a conservative. Now leave him alone.
Yeah.
And by the way, I respect the hell out of him for doing this. Good for him. Let him go create his art, and I hope eventually he chooses to run. But I don't think he's done creating. I think, what is Rock's age, by the way? How old is The Rock? Is he in his 40s? Is he in his 50s?
No, he's got to be in his 50s something. Yeah.
Well, good for him, man. He looks great. So he's in his 50s, 54 years old. Look, when that age hits 6, and you want to kind of go and, be a trifecta, because he's going to be a billionaire. He's the biggest superstar, bigger than Arnold ever was. Okay, so if he's a billionaire, Arnold never became a billionaire. If he's a superstar and he becomes a president, then he officially becomes one of two. You know why he becomes one of two? Because it's him and Trump.
Yep.
Trump was a billionaire, superstar on TV, and he goes and becomes a president. Mm-hmm. It could only be two of Rock's, and he's in the camp with Trump. He could pull it off. But take your time.
Yeah.
Pick your time. Adam.
I think Rock, at the end of the day, he's just a talented dude. I don't think he wants to be in politics. You interviewed him. You had a great interview with him. His story's amazing. His relationship with his father, his ex-wife, everything that he's doing. I think Rock, at the end of the day, the one thing that he wants to be? I think he wants to be liked. I genuinely believe that. I think when he was younger and more of a football player and a wrestler, he was clearly more pro-America, conservative type values. Then he got into Hollywood. And I think at one point he had to literally put on a dress. He had to see that side of the things, right? Twinkle, twinkle, that whole situation. I think Rock is someone who doesn't look in terms of politics and divisiveness. I think he's generally a synergist. I think he's the type of person that any reasonable person on the left or on the right says, I like The Rock. Now, if you're a hardcore person on the right, you're not going to like The Rock. If you're a hardcore person on the left, if you're a weak coward like this guy calling out The Rock, who would never say anything to his face, calls him a coward, you're probably not going to like him. But at the end of the day, Rock is a likable guy, and he will be a billionaire, and he loves America. That's what it comes down to.
Let me tell you, to say he's likable would be an understatement. To say he's likable, I learned so much about the guy when we had him at the Vault 2 years ago. Based on, he says, Pat, whatever they're doing, let's you and I talk. And we would talk on Sundays like, okay, are you good with this? Are you good? He said, Pat, I'm good with that. Okay, great, let's go. The interview. No, we needed to be cut down to 20 minutes. Rock's like, let's talk. We talked on the phone. He's like, no, I'm good. Let's release it. Boom. Great. I learned so much about how he deals behind closed doors. Like, this Republican gubernatorial debate that we did?
Yeah.
I learned about every candidate, not on stage, behind closed doors, how they were. You'll learn about them behind closed doors. And then you give them props in front of everybody to showing up, which they did.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about The Rock, dealing with him behind closed. I was very impressed with him.
What was the one thing that you remember about dealing with The Rock? What impressed you the most?
He's a guy. He's a man's man. He's a freaking dude you would like. He's like
He's a G.
Yeah. He's and by the way, at the highest level, I mean, it would be an understatement. He's a capital G, is what he is.
But by the way, we got to give a shout out to The Rock.
He's got very personal charisma when you meet him.
He talks to Dylan. He talked to the kids. He talked to everybody. No, he's cool.
Can we give a shout out to The Rock's low cousin, Matt Sapala? Can we do that?
You're so funny. You are so funny. All right,
but he's a great guy. I think he's very likable.
Let's go to the last couple stories I want to wrap up with. The last couple stories I want to wrap up with is World Cup being one of them, okay? And I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Yesterday, Portugal's playing Croatia. The debates, in the middle of the debate, they're playing, and I'm checking the score. And so we're in the boardroom cigar lounge. Yeah. Shout out to the crew over there, Mikel. If you're not a member, by the way, if you were a member, you were invited to the debate last night. For some of you guys that are not a member of the boardroom cigar lounge, there's so many deals that are getting done. You put the link below for people to go to it, boardroomcigarlounge.com. Can you go to the website? Guys in the back, can you go to the website, boardroomcigarlounge.com right there, and put the link below if you want to be a member. Send your information. We do background checks. There's no phones in sight, and there's a lot of deals. Everybody was watching the game after the debate. It was phenomenal. If you were a member, you would have been at the debate. Mm-hmm. And so we're watching Croatia and Portugal. And a lot of people are like, oh, Croatia, what's the big deal with Croatia? Croatia, knocked out Argentina a few years ago with Messi.
Yep.
And they knocked out Brazil. I mean, the player that they have, their main player.
Luka Modric?
He is ridiculous.
The guy with the rubber band?
The guy is ridiculous. And yesterday's game came down to hair.
Yes. Not his hair.
The ball
He's got
goes
great hair,
over, and they call the offsides with VAR, and there's 15-minute stoppage time. We're like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they scored a goal. Croatia scored a goal. And in the goal, they found this thing. Let me send this to you. I saved the clip. I don't know if you guys have it or not. That right there. So when you see this, it's such an interesting. Some are saying the whole thing came down
right there
to the technology they use because they put sensors in the ball, and the ball didn't feel that player's hair from Croatia. That's all apparently they needed for that ball to hit the hair of the Croatian player, and they said the ball didn't feel the hair.
That's and ball don't lie.
So there are soccer experts today that are saying this was not offside.
I'm going to send this to you. I want you to do this. A lot of people are talking about this because this would have gone to 2-2. And remember, Ronaldo was out, so he wouldn't have been part of the penalty or an OT when they go and play the thing. Can you play this clip I just sent you guys?
He'd been replaced by fresh legs and speed.
Yeah, watch this. Go for it. Refresh if you could. Watch this. Watch this.
Come on.
And the sensor is the reason why they have sensors in the ball, and the sensor is the reason why that goal was disallowed. That's the first time that we've seen that in a game. This literally comes down to if this comes off of enough of Renato Vega's hair to determine whether or not Croatia goes through or not. I mean, that is a level of detail that I don't think the founders of the game really had in mind. They have sensors
You know what this
in the
means? You know what this means? Some people are saying you can't say this to Argentinians because they would lose their mind. They're saying if VAR was around back in the days, England wins. Maradona doesn't get it because it would have shown
the hand of God.
The hand of God.
Hand of God.
So I don't know. I don't know if some like it or some don't like it, and that means Portugal is not going to be playing who? Portugal's playing who? We just talked about it earlier
today.
Playing
España.
Yeah, and Spain won yesterday 3-0.
Lights there.
And so Ronaldo did score a goal yesterday. The reality of it is everybody wants to see one matchup. Everybody wants to see Portugal against Argentina. Vinny, that game will be bonkers. And the U.S. playing Belgium Monday. Okay, you got two big games on Monday if you look at it right there. Look at that.
So if you look
Portugal,
at the brackets
Spain,
now, how do they
go
play
up?
Argentina?
Go up a little bit. So you got U.S. Belgium, and you have Portugal, Spain. Whoever wins, they face against each other. So U.S. could face Portugal, which would be epic, but that means they got to beat Belgium and Spain. And Spain's not. Tom said it. Spain played lights out. If you go a little bit higher, today Paraguay plays France. Okay.
France is going to win that.
Canada, Morocco. I got to tell you, it's going to sound weird. I kind of like the way Morocco played. I like the way Morocco played.
They're tough.
I really like the way Morocco plays.
They beat the Netherlands.
Who else do we have? Who else do we have there?
That their uniforms.
We got Viva Mexico.
And today,
Mexico's playing England.
You got Brazil, Norway.
Which
I'm, by the way, just so you know, people are not going to, I don't even want to see who I'm going for in that game. I'm
rooting for our friend from Norway.
Yeah, he's playing good. Mexico, England should be good. And then go a little lower, Switzerland. Where's the Argentina one? Isn't Argentina?
Playing Capo Verde today.
Argentina playing Capo Verde. And Australia, Egypt, Colombia, Ghana. Wow.
And I'm rooting for my Colombian, mi gente.
So we'll see. We'll see
what
happens.
For?
So
what's the deal here?
I am wanting to see history. That's what I want to see.
What do you want to see?
I want to see the most watched game of all time because I want the argument I want Portugal to play Argentina.
What do you think the argument is?
Hang on, the way
I
the
think
first
it's done if it happens.
Well, what do you
I
mean?
wanna
What's the argument? You
and
think,
then,
you're thinking that Cristiano
you know who else we're
is
not
even
even
close
talking
to
about? Can you go
Messi?
back to the brackets? Can you go back to the brackets on what you had? The other thing that no one is talking about is France, because France is dominating.
People are talking about France.
They are dominating.
Can I say something's going to piss
go ahead.
people off, Pat? Because I've watched.
You do it all the time.
I've
Vinny.
watched a
Why
couple
stop
of games
now?
at this point. The passion, we saw it. I don't think Portugal has it this year. Okay, let me finish. I see Cristiano. He's ridiculous. He's nasty. He's 41 years old. He's on the pitch with people that are 22 that are. By the way, I was watching the France game, Pat. Nobody's out of breath. Mbappe's running around playing defense like a freaking maniac. They are off the charts. Argentina is so methodical with their passing, and yeah, Messi's older, Tom, but he's freaking.
Why was Ronaldo off the pitch at that moment of the game?
He was tired.
And the answer was speed, legs, and defense.
Of course, he's tired.
He's older.
He's older. And
it was the right coaching
Guys,
move.
if you're watching this and you're offended by what Tom just said about Ronaldo, connect him and call him out.
Yeah,
How dare he talks about Ronaldo like that?
But are you ready for this?
Oh my
Pat? 'Cause I
God,
know
what
we're
an insult.
Listen, I'm not trying to
No, that's
insult
an
the
insult.
11th greatest player in soccer history.
And I'm going to say this. We watched America play. Listen, and America's not going to have their floor. What's his name?
The dude that scores the goals.
No, our nastiest player's out because of a BS red
BS
card.
call.
I'm telling you right now, America has it. America could beat Belgium even without him. Then we get him back, and we could win the winner out of Portugal and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. A reporter asked him. She goes, Zlatan, one word. Can the United States win the whole thing? He went like this. He went, yes. Done deal. If Zlatan says take it to the bank.
If the U.S. win, I'm going to show a video that no one's going to believe. Okay. But if the U.S. win, I'm not even going to say it. Okay. But it's going to be if the U.S. win, it's going to be a good conversation. Let me wrap it up with this
What do you
here
mean
on
by
this.
if, though?
Let me wrap it up with this. Let me wrap it up with this. You know who is my favorite personality in soccer? Period. It's not even close. It's Zlatan. It's not even close. If there was somebody I would want to sit down and have a conversation with and just dinner with, it would be Zlatan. Out of all the soccer players, any one of them, pick any one of them, it's Zlatan. There's something very, very special about Zlatan. You know when Zlatan played for AC Milan, he goes to Italy, he's there for 3 years, and he goes to a bunch of different teams. Then he comes back to AC Milan to retire. They create a tribute. They said it's the only time he cried. 2 times he cried. The first time he cried is when the first team he played for, he led the team in goals, and there was an issue with the bank account and money and different things. And the second time he cried is the way AC Milan gave him love. There's this video I've played over and over and over again. I've watched this thing at least 50 times the last 48 hours. It's the tribute video with this song that I can't play because we will get a copyright. But if you send me a message, I'll share this with you. It's the song with Arcade, Duncan Lawrence featuring Fletcher is in the video. I can't play it. Can you show Zlatan's reaction when he's coming out? Watch the way the fans are crying and look how he starts shaking. It's the most beautiful cry a man has when this happens to you because the world appreciates how you played for them, how you showed up for them. Their fans were in love with them, and this reminded me of a moment in my life, which I'll share here in a moment. Go for it. Play this clip. Watch this. And they're playing the Gladiator theme song in the background. Look at this. Watch what happens in a minute. They played with them. They love him. Can't even hold himself. Look at this. This is one of the biggest alphas in the world. Do you see that? Such a beautiful freaking thing. You know, we're taking family pictures with everybody wearing their own jerseys. You know, we're a proud family. The one jersey I will comfortably put on, you can pause it right there, is Zlatan. You know what this reminded me of? Many, many years ago, I'm teaching PHP University at a hotel in Dallas. I'm wearing my Yankees jersey. I don't know if you remember that video where I'm going like this. There's a video of that one. You'll remember this when we're doing this thing. And we are leaving this meeting in Dallas. You're not going to find it, so don't worry about it. It's fine, guys. You're not going to find it. We are leaving this meeting, and while we're leaving this meeting, I call my sister. My sister's with me as well. We go to our house in Plano. While we go to the house in Plano, We watched the last game of Kobe Bryant. And Shaq tells Kobe, go for 50. Go for 50.
Shaq tells Kobe.
Yeah, go for 50. So he says, go for 50. And Kobe goes for 60 points that night, his last game. 60 points. It was against Utah. And the guy that was guarding him was a
Gordon
Hayward. Brandon Hayward. No, Gordon Hayward. No, it's a different first name. Is it Gordon Hayward? It is Gordon. Brandon Hayward was a power forward guy. And he scored 60.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I'm watching this. His last game, he scored 60. Everybody in the audience is in tears. Oh, yeah. Emotional. Everybody in the audience is in tears. Emotional when this guy scored 60. And afterwards, he goes, kisses the floor, leaves. And you think about the 20 years this guy gave to the Lakers. And when he came on and we had him at the event and we're having a conversation together prior to the event and all that stuff. And then the day we get the news that he passed away, we were at Seasons 52 and my phone, all the alerts, everybody, my phone is the first, all of a sudden I get 50 text messages within 2 minutes. And I said, there's no way this is true. And then CNN reports and then Fox reports and then ESPN reports it. And you realize Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter accident. This could have been prevented. There's something very emotional about sports. And I think what the World Cup is doing, I posted this on Twitter yesterday on my account, saying there's something very emotional about soccer because when they lost, one of the teams lost, Bosnia lost, and the coach went around to their side to thank the audience on their side, you could tell how emotional the audience was because you're fighting for your country. There's something very, very emotional about the game of soccer. It's very weird. I rooted for Morocco. I've been critical of Islamists, and, when we talk about politics, I can't believe you're this. I'm rooting for Morocco. Yeah, it's like I want to see these guys win. Everything leaves. Religion leaves. All of it leaves. You see stories of these kids who have gone out there and done what they've done. It's such an amazing sport of bringing the world together. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going on. I hope to see everybody, these couple games that all the countries rooting for their own thing. It's going to be an amazing next couple weeks. This thing's going to be done like this. You know that, right? In a couple weeks, we're starting. July 19th is the last game. Today's what? July 1st?
Yeah.
July 3rd?
Wait,
the
third,
second or third?
Today's the third.
In 16 days is the championship match.
Yep.
In 16 days. It's not like baseball or football. In 16 days. So anyways, gang, for those guys that tuned in, the true believers we were debating, should we? I'm like, we're going to be doing this. Effective next week. Remember, it's only 2 times we're doing podcasts a week for the next 3 weeks. Mondays and Thursdays. Put it in your calendar, Mondays and Thursdays. And for some of you guys, we may not be giving away a private jet, but we are giving the ability for you to come and join us on the podcast. If you place your order over $2,000, and I know a bunch of people are doing that, $1,000 orders on vtmerch.com. We will FaceTime you the first 50. The first 200 orders will get the golden bottle. And then we have buy one, get one free. We have even if you're watching this saying, I'm not going to spend that kind of money, go get yourself a Future Looks Bright hat. Yesterday, there was 80 Future Looks Bright hat that was given away to the people that were there with Florida on it. There's so many different things. You're going to get a lot of discounts this weekend for 4th of July. And if you're somebody that wants to develop yourself and grow yourself and invest into online courses, we have the Art of Public Speaking, PBD Sales System Strategy. 5 of them you're going to get in a bundle, or you can get your Future Looks Bright shoes. Go to vtmerch.com to place your order. Enjoy 4th of July, 250-year anniversary. What a special moment this is for American history as well. And we will do this again next Monday. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
4th, everybody.